Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Rock the Bells presents LL Cool J.
So what you got Chanel on your feet? Hot sex on a platter makes the mission complete.
Live in concert. LL Cool J. Saturday, May 10th, the venue at Thunder Valley with DJ C-Trip. LL Cool J. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss LL Cool J live.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at sacktownsports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake.
Well, it's official. Almost. Doug Christie and the Kings finalizing an agreement on a multi-year contract to make Doug Christie franchise's next head coach. Interesting, the reaction. There's some angst. There's some, I knew it. They didn't really search for a coach. There's also some joy. There's also some yes. There's also some, this is great. I think there's a lot of, okay, we kind of knew where this was headed. Christie's agent, Andy Miller of Clutch Sports, according to ESPN, negotiated the new deal to remove the interim tag. So Doug Christie, of course, took over as interim coach in late December when the Kings fired Mike Brown. So you've got Scott Perry now. You've got Doug Christie. Hopefully you've got some stability that's being established here, relative stability at least in terms of what the Kings have had this year. I think this is a good hire, and I think they're in a pretty good place. And again, not to be redundant, but I understand all the people saying, well, I don't know if this is really a search. They didn't really conduct a search. What's going on? Who's really calling the shots here? But I go back to people like Jerry Reynolds is going to join us, bottom of the hour. The great Gary Gerald and former trainer Pete Youngman, people that know Doug and know the situation and say, boy, I hope he gets a shot because he did a really good job and he'll be great here. Those are the people that I trust their judgment, and they're all excited about this move, Jay. And I think that's a good thing for the Kings and Kings fans.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, let me say this real quick. And this is a real life message, and anybody could take it how they want to. I'm pushing everything to the side as far as fan wise, media wise, radio host wise. And that's why I'm prefacing this. So this isn't to be distinguished. I want to make sure this is distinguished. Shouts out to Doug Christie for getting a head coaching job. Mm-hmm. And I say it in the form of, again, remember, this is not media. This isn't a radio host. This isn't somebody that needs to be selective of how they saying, man, this is just pure relationship. And I believe Doug deserves and has earned this. And not just these last 121 days that he was the coach. I'm talking about all the hard effort, the time, and everything else he's put into it. Basketball has been his life. I know that. I've had multiple conversations. And when I say multiple, I mean multiple conversations that this has been a dream and a goal. He's not taking this lightly. And that's the truth. I'm not speaking for him. I'm speaking through me. He deserves every minute of being a head coach.
Did you meet him on this station? I remember driving around town and listening. I think I remember you and Doug Christie doing this show years ago together. You ever on the air with Doug? Is that kind of how you met him?
Yeah, that is exactly how I met him. Yeah. I had not known Doug. I had seen Doug at like BET Awards, once or twice, stuff like that in passing. He used to play like in a celebrity basketball game when I was working at BET, doing some reporting and stuff like that. So I had seen him, shook hands, dapped it up, always been cool, as a media person, media personality, never not turn, he's always, hey, yeah, I'll do something. Let's talk about it real quick. Red carpet, come on air, national network, all of that type of stuff. But I'm talking about through the conversations and the getting to know him here and getting and spending every single day like I spend every single day with you guys. One thing I think, if nothing else, please, I would imagine most people who listen to this show would understand it out. We're going to shoot it as pretty close to straight as possible, right? As much as we can. Now, there are some things that we can't say. There are some things that, you know, we want to say, but we choose not to say because of our own safety. That's common sense. But beyond that, there's nobody more deserving of a head coaching job when it comes to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the student spent his whole life giving it to the sport.
Good news. A good day for the Sacramento Kings. Hey, Kyle Draper.
First of all, fellas, sorry for being late. I was hollering at Angie over there, working on some stuff.
You were doing some work.
I was doing some work.
Man,
I was in the building.
Yeah,
I was in the building. Let me say this. I don't know what music you rolled into the show, Jay, but the vibes need to be up right now.
Oh, they are up.
This is celebration time.
Absolutely.
This is a great day for Sacramento Kings basketball. It's a great day for our boy Doug Christie. I went on the air last week, Whitey, and said Zach LaVine had advocated for Doug. We heard Jake LaRavia wanted Doug back. Got a text from a source that says this is a good move for the Sacramento Kings, somebody very close to the players out there. And so this is a time for celebration. This is, to me, and everybody will be like, well, is it Vivek's hire? Is it Scott Perry's hire? I don't give a damn. It's the right hire. Let's call it what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the right hire for the Sacramento Kings. And here's why. Knowing what Doug and the players and the staff had to go through this season, and Jay's right on point. We know some things that happened behind the scenes. Don't want to get too much into it. But it was a tough job. I was about to curse. Don't want to do that.
Ahead. You can say it. You can say it, Drake.
You can say anything on the radio one time.
At one time. All right. It got to be organic, though. I can't force it now. All right. The moment has already passed.
Tough-ass situation.
Yeah, tough-ass situation. It was a tough-ass job. I said it twice. My bad. But here's the thing. The players, for the most part, still showed up to work. I understand they got blown out by Dallas. I understand that. But for the most part, for this team to get to 40 wins, knowing everything they've been through, think about it like this, fellas. And we're going to talk about the roster, you know, all off season, everything like that. This team won 40 games, and arguably had one of the most tumultuous seasons in Kings history.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying something.
Trading your best player, firing a coach, assistants jumping, assistant GM jumping ship before the season. And to win 40 games under those circumstances, now does Doug have some room to grow? No doubt about it. Does he have to learn some things? No doubt about it. But navigating that ship showed me he has some leadership qualities that this franchise needs.
I know Stan Van Gundy, who I believe was, according to Jay, just recently named the lead analyst for Amazon.
Yeah.
Sir.
Broadcast. Stan Van Gundy said Doug Christie went through more this season than most coaches go through in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about all 40 wins is great. Given everything, I understand where you're coming from because there was so often this year where they were just so flat. But I'm with you that Doug Christie did hold it together. And it's pretty apparent that he probably was going to be the guy. But that's okay. If the players are backing him the way you say, Drapes, and you were the first one that I heard last week, as you mentioned, say, oh, yeah, Zach LaVine wants him here, then he's definitely the right guy.
Right. That's the thing. And, you know, and we've talked about it before. Does Doug know everything? No. But has he earned the shot at a training camp? At a complete coaching staff, at a complete roster? I think so. Especially when you look at today's NBA. Doug has more experience than some of these coaches out there in the game right now. You know, I look at, you know, a Taylor Jenkins, great coach. Never played on any level. Didn't play in college. He wasn't a college, but he turned out to be a good NBA head coach. JJ Redick. Sure, he's having some issues right now with the Lakers, but he did a good job. But JJ Redick ain't never coached before. So this narrative that, you know, Doug isn't right for the job or ready for the job, he's actually proven that he can do the job.
Do you think Doc Rivers is an accomplished coach?
100%.
Do you remember what he was doing before he became a coach?
Of course. He was a broadcaster.
Yeah. Steve
NBC.
Kerr. Oh, Steve Kerr.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think, too, to be honest, guys, today's coaching isn't as X's and O involved as it used to be. Today's coaching, and you need that. I'm talking about the head coach. You also got to be a motivator. You got to be a psychologist. Guys got to respect you. And then you also have to have some X's. It's not just who's the best X's and O's. We know Mike Brown is an X's and O's guy. We've seen it before. We know coaches can draw plays, but do the players respond? And I feel like what we saw the last 50-something games, what was Doug, 27, 24, 51 games, the players respected Doug. Now, mind you, some stuff was going on behind the scenes, and the players saw that too, and came out flat sometimes, and that's not surprising. But for the most part, the fingers weren't being pointed at Doug saying, Doug, what the hell are you doing? There was some other stuff going on.
Yeah, I understand the fans' frustration, but I think ultimately it's the right move, no matter how they ended up with this as the decision. Oh, it's Vivek. He decided this all along. Oh, it was a dog and pony show. It's still the right move to make for where this team is right now.
Exactly. Let me ask you this,
and I'm not saying all that's true. I'm just saying it isn't really the important thing right now.
Roger B., he's already on one.
Yeah.
An employee of the Kings love to hire. Raise your hand if you're surprised. He also says the players also love Luke Walton. Can we stop with, I don't know what that means. No. With that. Oh,
to say, yeah.
Oh, is that what? First of all, all right, I see his. I don't think the players love Luke Walton. From what I gather, and I was here for a couple seasons with Luke, I don't even know if the players were buying into what Luke Walton was actually saying, let alone, I've been around. It's a difference. I'm sorry. It's a difference. The relationship that Doug has with the players is different than Luke Walton. I'm sorry. I can't co-sign that, Roger B. It's completely different.
Can Coach DC and Scott Perry stabilize the situation in Sacktown? We're back with that. Jerry Reynolds, bottom of the hour, too. I know he's happy about the news today. All that and more coming up with the Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports. Hello.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Spring into deals and save on seasonal projects at Lowe's. Right now, get 5 select 1-pint annuals for just $10. Plus, get a free 60-volt Toro battery when you purchase a select 60-volt Toro electric mower. Don't miss out on these fresh spring deals. Shop in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/30 while supplies last. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Hawaii.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Granger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Granger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
We're super excited to announce that the new truck center is now open at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And it's easy to find from anywhere. They're centrally located right across from Hagan Oaks Golf Course. At Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, you never have to sacrifice great service to get a good deal. They make sure you're treated the way you deserve to be treated. Showing time and time again that Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's the place where a handshake still means something. I mean, that's the reason why people are coming from all over town. Elk Grove, Folsom, Woodland, Roseville. Stop on in and experience the difference for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me take you where you can.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Doug Christie is officially the Kings coach, or at least we expect he will be soon. And we're going to have Jerry Reynolds bottom of the hour. We'll get back to all that. Before we do, Drapes, did you watch, and I'm not trying to, be Bonte here or anything, but did you watch that Warriors-Rockets game last night? After that debacle of an opening game, that was a classic playoff game.
That was a great
night.
Playoff game. That was it was hard to watch, though, Whitey. It was hard to watch. And maybe I'll drop a D list at some point this week. I've been mulling this over. But I truly do hate the Warriors. Like, I know Sacramento, we want to hate the Lakers and everything. I get that. But right now,
really,
the Warriors are my most hated rival.
Real hate, man. That's like an art form.
Yeah.
That had to be a rough night then.
It was rough.
Because they were on the ropes a couple times.
Draymond should have been ejected.
Probably.
They give him a flagrant foul. Right. Instead of a technical. Usually that's a double tech or
everyone in the building, everyone watching on TV. I'm sitting there with my wife, oh, he's gone now, right?
Right.
Wait, why is he still there?
Right.
Oh, it's a flagrant, not a technical.
Right. It's weak, man. And don't get me started, man, on the Warriors, because I'm just, and who knows, maybe a job come open someday. I'm going to take my hat out of the running. No thanks, Joe Lacob. I'm going to take a pass, big fella.
Really?
Yeah, because here's the thing, man. I'm going to save it, Whitey. I got a D list, and I don't want to give away my material. Maybe tomorrow I'll drop
I
that
personally was glad to see somebody stand up to Dylan Brooks the way Jimmy did.
What?
You're a bum and a B word.
That's terrible. I thought.
I was glad to see that. He's not even that good a defensive player anymore.
Nah, I'm a Dylan Brooks guy. Sign me up. Hey, Scott Perry, bring Dylan Brooks to Sacramento. I'm a Dylan Brooks fan.
Why?
He might be first because I like that. I like that people like you think he's a bum. And Jimmy Butler.
Said, I didn't say it. I think he's overrated.
And as somebody said, when I forget what I was watching or listening to, Memphis could have used the Dylan Brooks this season. They don't have any heart and soul. Dylan Brooks brings heart and soul to a team. And he's had some good games in this series. Let's not act like he's
been good since he's gone to the Rockets.
No, he's been solid. Yeah, he's been solid. And so, and here's
terrible foul.
But Jimmy Butler's kind of a bully too.
Sure.
This is what's frustrating about me. Jay, give me my music, big fella. It's been a while. Give me my music.
Bully, stand up.
Calm down, Lion. Calm down. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
If you are cheering for Jimmy Butler or happy that Jimmy Butler does anything, shame on you, Mr. Kevin Whitey Gleason.
Shame on me.
Here's why.
Why?
Because he quit on the Miami Heat. He quit on the Minnesota Timberwolves. He quits and then he's a whining crybaby that gets the pacifier at the end of the day.
I'm just glad he stood up to Dylan Brooks.
But somebody needs to stand up to him, is what I'm saying. Seeing Jimmy Butler succeed in Golden State is pathetic. It's disgusting to me. I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's Boris Diaw, but he quit on the Miami Heat, Whitey.
Mm-hmm.
He quit. He laid over like a dog, didn't go to practice, wasn't playing games. All of a sudden, he goes to Golden State. I got my joy back. Dog, you were making $40 to $50 million. That's joy enough right there. You quit on your teammates in Miami, and now you're having some success. Jimmy Butler is a front runner. That's what I'm seeing right now. He is a front runner right now. And he got Draymond and Steph to protect him. I can't cheer for that right now, man. I can't cheer for that guy. I can't cheer for the Whiteys. Well, for the Warriors, excuse me.
Ow. Hello.
No, right? I went elsewhere there. I apologize.
Aging Dr. Freud.
I know. No, but I can't cheer for the Warriors because it's disgusting, man. Jimmy Butler forced his way out of Miami, got to where he wanted to go, and now is having success. And now all of a sudden, playoff Jimmy. How come I didn't see that in Miami the first 60 games you were there, Jimmy Butler? It's disgusting, Whitey. We should not celebrate Jimmy Butler and what's going on in Golden State.
That's the NBA. That's the nature of it. And I'm celebrating. Like I said, I'm celebrating that he put Dylan Brooks in his place. Dylan Brooks is an overrated bully.
I thought Dylan Brooks was fantastic the way he reacted. That laugh he did against Jimmy, laugh in Jimmy Butler's face. And Jimmy's like, well, he awakened the beast. He got me going. Dog, after that, the Rockets went on the run, and they took the 7-point lead in the half. It doesn't matter. Thanks to a phantom call. That was a phantom call, and the 2-minute report came out, and they said it was a correct call. That's a phantom call. Little hand on the belly. Dylan Brooks, the foul.
That's a bad foul.
That's a phantom call. And what's happening here on this show, ladies and Whitey's a closet Warriors fan. You got to admit it a little bit.
I'm in this series. I'm rooting for the Warriors.
That's blasphemous. That is blasphemous. The Warriors to me.
Stand the Rockets.
No, the Warriors to me are the Kings' biggest rival right now. And so, yes, I'm an employee of the Kings, so I'm a ride or die for them. But there's no way I could cheer for the Golden State Warriors in any series. I don't care who they're playing. It doesn't matter. Golden State is our rival right now, and it pains me to see them having some success. Jay, that's Drape's Takes, man. It's brought to you by
Alsco Uniforms.
Discover why. Yeah, sorry, I just had to get that off my chest. I'm. It's hard to watch, man.
Well, it was a great game. That was my original point. It was a great playoff game. A lot of drama, a lot of back and forth, a lot of physical, courageous playoff basketball being played last night.
I guess. No, I thought it was a great game.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good game. And I thought the Rockets youth showed their star player, Jalen Green, has been a non-factor in 3 of the 4
games. They haven't been
games.
through something like this before.
But let me ask you this, because this is why I don't like the Warriors. Draymond has a nice defensive play against Şengün. Nice. Şengün just missed the shot. It wasn't like he was a jump hook from 7 feet away. Şengün makes that 7 out of 10 times.
The mistake was Şengün, if you watch it, I watched it a bunch of times today. I don't know why he stopped where he did. He was outside the dotted circle.
Yeah.
He was like 11 feet out against a guy with 5 fouls.
Right.
I don't know. And there was
he could have kept going.
Yes.
Yeah, he had more time.
Yes.
He let Draymond off the hook,
He
I
did.
thought.
He turned and shot that thing from 11 feet. Like you say, like 5 feet in, it's deadly. But he had, he bailed Draymond out a little bit.
And then Draymond's reaction, running over to Reggie Miller, Reggie standing up, and, it's just.
He wanted all that
And
smoke.
I'm not a Reggie Miller guy either. Like, I'm not a Reggie Miller fan. When
Who
it
you
comes
like,
to
man? Who you like?
I'm not, nobody from that broadcast.
see.
Like, no, Kevin Harlan I like. Kevin Harlan's a pro. He's fantastic. But it's just, dude, it's, you know how Kings fans feel about the Lakers deep in their core, deep in their soul? That's how I feel about the Warriors, to be honest.
I think a lot of
with you.
Kings fans feel that way about the Warriors, too.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. All right. Sorry. I just had to get, I can't stand them winning. And Bonte didn't text. Nobody texted. I just was watching that game, and I'm texting people. I'm like, I can't tell you how much I hate the Warriors watching those guys. Like Brandon Pajemski all of a sudden turning into a playoff performer. I'm like,
I don't know how he missed that layup, but
right. Other than that, he was perfect, man. Kudos to them. They won the game, but man, I'm a Rockets fan this series, 100%. I'm all in. I'm in on Şengün. I'm in on Tari Eason. I'm in on Dylan Brooks. I need the Warriors bounce.
Did you see Ime Udoka? I think it was the end of the first half, and Tari Eason, might have been the end of a quarter. Tari Eason committed a really bad foul on an inbounds.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I thought he was going to strangle Tari Eason.
Third quarter, in the third quarter. Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler on the inbounds.
Tari Eason fouled him and sent
he
him
got
to the line.
free throws. Yeah.
And Ime Udoka was furious. He's as mad as I've seen a coach.
Yeah, it's, and that comes with not being in that experience, not having that high basketball IQ in that moment. And they should have had that game. They had that game, man. I'm sorry. I'm just not a Warriors fan, man. I can't. People, hate the Lakers, and I get it. But for me, the Warriors are at the top of teams I just can't vibe.
Yeah, I thought I might hear from you today on me calling Fred VanVleet a bricklayer. I thought I might hear something on that.
No. VanVleet's a solid player. No, he's good. He's a champion. I'm not going, you got your opinion on him.
Yeah, but I called him a bricklayer, and he was like, he made everything last night.
He was one game, last game he was, but last night he was that dude.
It's too bad they didn't have that timeout left at the end of the game.
Right. Advance the ball, draw something up, He had a good look at it, I thought, falling out of bounds. Just not, So, all right, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just hate seeing the Warriors do well, man.
You didn't watch that first game, did you? I know we had it on in here.
Nah, I didn't. I didn't watch that first game, dude. real quick, I'm on the text line right here. And people are coming at you.
That's fine.
Whitey. And to think, I used to like you, Whitey.
Oh, well, that's fine.
916. I'm with Drapes. Blank those Warriors. 510 from Trey. Preach, Drapes. I'm with you on Jimmy Butler. Like, that's terrible what Jimmy Butler did.
That's not the first time he's done it.
Exactly. And the Warriors rewarded him with a contract.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right, man.
That's pro sports. You're right. It's not right. What are they supposed to do? Say, yeah, we don't like what you did to Miami. We're not going to bring you in.
Because to me, what pro sports is, all right, you don't like your situation. You force your way out. Okay. But don't lay down like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sabotage the organization. Don't quit. I'm not playing. Yeah, be a professional about it, Jimmy. You still got a job to do. Play it out and then go elsewhere. Don't, the way he handled it.
It's at least the second time he's done it.
Right.
He got away with it
Minnesota.
before, so why wouldn't he do it again?
I'm just upset about it. Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Somebody said, would you say Fox quit on his team? If you look at those last few games, let's go to the tape. Let's go to the tape on De'Aaron Fox. And I know you're looking at the clock. We got time to do this, Whitey. Go to De'Aaron Fox's game log, his last 10 games or so in Sacramento. And I haven't pulled it up. I just know from the eye test. De'Aaron Fox, last 10 games in Sacramento. Here we go.
That's pretty serious charges if you're going to go there on De'Aaron Fox.
No, I'm not saying he quit. I'm just saying he wasn't. That's what we do. We entertain questions. 19, 12, 14, 17, 14. At Brooklyn, he had 30, 19. I don't know if De'Aaron Fox was as well engaged.
He didn't quit on his team.
No, I didn't say that.
You asked the question, and I'm saying
somebody asked the question on the social.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying no, he did not.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right. Okay.
Are you saying it's inconclusive?
I'm saying he wasn't 100% dialed in. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between quitting and not being 100. What Jimmy Butler did, he quit on the team. What De'Aaron Fox did, he sort of wasn't all in. Same way he wasn't in on that Detroit loss. He wasn't locked in.
Okay, so the question is, did he quit on his team, De'Aaron Fox? What's your conclusion?
No, he did not quit, but he wasn't all in.
All right, we're all in on Jerry Reynolds. He joins us next. I know he's excited about the news. We'll find out how excited next on Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Sky River Casino, Hop Valley Brewing, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Secret Clinical Dominating Extra Stinky Stress Sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
Watch this. The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Jerry Reynolds is going to join us. Jerry's usually heard a little later in the week, but with everything going on, we invited him to come on. Also, you got the fact that, as Jerry's told us, if I have this story right, do I have this story right? There's 3 people that he's told you should be a coach. Kara Lawson, Jim Les, and Doug Christie.
Oh,
I think those are the 3 people.
okay.
Yeah, let's find out. Coach Jerry Reynolds with us, all-time Kings icon. Do I have that story right, Jerry? Are those the 3 people that you told you should become a coach?
It is right. Very, very true, and very happy for Doug. And, of course, there's probably 4 or 5 I should have told not to, including myself maybe. But, I was really happy for Doug. I honestly thought he did a very good job under almost impossible circumstances. Interim coach is tough enough without having 2 different teams to interim with, which is kind of what he had to adjust to. And I think, I think the experience that he had this season will bear fruits going forward.
The fruits of victory.
Hey, Jerry, some people are up in arms about who made the decision and is the owner meddling here? Was it Scott Perry's hire? What's your opinion on that? And does that even matter at this point?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's the right choice. I'm one that thinks it's a good choice. Now, if Eric Spoelstra was available and wanted to come, I'd probably be in favor of that. No disrespect to Doug, and he'd understand that, but that's not the case. But it certainly doesn't. You wouldn't think that with nobody actually interviewed that there was much of a search, would you? Right. So it certainly appeared that ownership, Scott, anybody, I guess you'd have to say they had pretty much made their minds up, and you'd have to say it's a possibility minds were made up before they even hired the general manager. I don't know. But the point is, when you don't have a search, that's the kind of questions you get.
Jerry, I know you've been through this as an assistant, as a coach, and we know all about the trades the Kings made, and Mike Brown was fired. But how much harder was Doug's job this year, given that on his own staff, you had the assistant GM leave, you had the guy who was more or less running the defense leave in the middle of the season, the changes to the coaching staff itself, how much harder did that make Doug's job this year?
Well, quite a bit, and like I say, and then, of course, the additions of the players after the trade deadline, it was really a totally different kind of team. And, and honestly, as I listened to you guys talking about Fox's last 2 games, well, he wasn't at his best, but the truth is, De'Aaron is better than anybody that is currently on the roster, in my opinion. So So there's that, and he had to adjust to a totally different kind of team. Certainly one with Fox is not a pure playmaker, but he is a point guard and a lead guard, and so there's a real gap there. And so I don't know. I don't know who could have done any better. I mean, there's guys that could have done as well, but I'm not sure anybody could have taken the team and done much with it. I'm not a fan of the roster particularly, because quite honestly, they won less games this year than last year, and they're an older team.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jerry, how critical and vital and important is it to have the right assistants for a head coach in the NBA? Not just Doug, but any coach. How vital are assistant coaches to success?
Oh, extremely important. I mean, you really need people that are your guys. It doesn't mean that some of the guys that were on the staff, with Doug at the end of the season could very well be his guys, but that's really important. And I think it's important that he get to kind of develop his own staff, and I think it's for a young coach like himself, it wouldn't be bad to, have a guy, former head coach. Now, I know Jay Triano has been that, but it wouldn't, I always like the idea when you see guys like Scott Brooks and Nate McMillan sitting on a bench. I think it gives you a little warm, fuzzy feeling. Jeff Van Gundy, you've got guys that have been there and done it.
Terry Stotts with the Warriors, for example.
Terry Stotts is another proven playoff caliber coach. And so those guys are out there, and if, but the most important thing is they need to be your guy.
Now, when you were coaching, I'm sure you had your lead assistant, you had somebody run the offense, somebody run the defense. Would you have 6 or 7 assistants, Jared, when you were head coach?
Yeah, or one, actually. And I always remember my first interim stint. I didn't have any for a couple of games.
Really?
Wow.
I was a Lone Ranger, buddy.
By yourself out there, huh?
I was yes, sir. I wrote the scouting reports up on the board and coached the offense and the defense, and I might even. There was a couple times when I had to tape some ankles.
Oh, my, how things have changed. Jeez.
It's a little bit different now. Yeah, a little bit different. And I'd have to say I probably would be more along the lines of 2 or 3 assistants probably would be plenty, and then a really complete scouting staff, which we didn't have either. At that time. We didn't have a full-time scout. I think my advanced scout was a guy named Mike Thibault, who really had a nice career in the WNBA, but he was part-time, and he would do some he would do some advanced scouting when he could. We had we had it all going for us.
Yeah, Mike, I need you to scout Detroit. I can't. I got to work. I'm
right.
I've got to stock shelves.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Hey, Jerry, you talked about the roster, and Scott Perry, in my opinion, walks into a difficult situation, and he said he has talent, but I don't know if it's winning talent, a winning combination. What's the first thing you're shopping for? What's the first thing you're looking for to add to this team?
Well, I think they clearly need a point guard, a guy who's a legitimate playmaker, and then another long wing. I mean, if you could have a list of guys, of course, there's a lot of guys, ideally that if you could get would really change the team. But I think that's the team needs. And how do you get them? I mean, because I think first thing you really got to find out who might be available and who on your team might have value in getting those people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I would think, Coach, outside looking in, DeMar is a key to this. If DeMar doesn't want to be here, then it comes down to what you can get for him. I'm assuming that the other big names, the Kings want to keep them and they want to stay here. But what do you think of this name? Because we talked about this yesterday. And he's not a perfect fit. He plays point guard, but he's not a pure point guard. If it's true that the Grizzlies might shop Ja Morant, would you be interested in looking into that from the Kings standpoint?
I'm not as a big a fan of Ja as a lot of people anymore. He's a marvelous talent. Don't get me wrong, but I just think availability scares me to death.
Yeah.
And the way he plays, he's so gifted athletically. It's almost you just almost say he's going to miss games.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you, I'd much rather have this. You guys might not agree. I'd much rather have Trae Young than John Morant.
Wow. Okay.
Tell me why. What do you like about Trae, Jerry?
He's a much better playmaker. You know, he is a much better playmaker, shooter. Defensively, he's not as good, but then Ja's not exactly a stopper either.
Yeah.
And he's been far more available.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, let me ask you this, because, you know, when I look at this Kings team, you know, I talked about the talent, but I don't see a togetherness. It seems like they're coworkers. How important do you think guys need to have a relationship off the court as well as on the court in the NBA?
It sure helps. You know, I mean, I don't know that you have to, but I'd say that probably 90% of the quality teams do have that. Now, often winning kind of begets that. And not winning has a tendency to kind of splinter things. You know what I mean? Because that fingers start pointing all different directions. Never usually inward. I'd agree. I mean, it's one of those things that I think as a coach, and certainly with Doug, he's got good relationships with people and good at that, is trying to find ways to get guys to get on the same page. And I always say the real thing is players have to understand, all of them, even the real good ones, everybody has to be willing to sacrifice something. Now, the better you are, the less you have to sacrifice. You know, Michael Jordan didn't have to sacrifice as much as Luke Longley. But, you know, he sacrificed something because he could have averaged 40 a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a question for you from Jeffrey Simpton in the YouTube chat. Jeffrey Simpton says, would someone please ask Mr. Reynolds if he thinks Doug Christie can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear? I'll ask you because that's what Jeffrey wants somebody to ask you, Jerry.
No. I tell you what, Jeffrey, that's a great question. I think he could make a sow's ear purse. I think he has a chance of doing that. So I think sometimes you just have to make the best of it. You know, it's like the old saying, you know, you put a lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig, and that would be true, except it would be a better looking pig.
I don't even know where to go after that. You know what I mean? I want to get right back to basketball real quick, because one of the conversations we had yesterday is, do you need a guy to compete for a championship, or can you build a team full of Robins, I guess, and be competitive? What say you, Jerry? Do the Kings need to go find a guy?
Well, I think history would say that is the case in about 80% of the championship teams. They've got, you know, whether it's a Boston last year, you know, Tatum and Brown would probably both be in the top 10 of the league, 10 or 12. So you got that's a good place to start. And you know, now there have been teams, you know, Detroit in 2004, and we talked about Seattle one year. But, you know, even I always point to Golden State back in 75, along with, they had Rick Barry was one of the 3 or 4 great best players in the world at the time, and they had a bunch of role players.
And they had Jamal Wilkes,
but without Rick Barry, they weren't going to win anything. And I guess the easiest way is to get that guy. I mean, it's not the easiest way, but if you got that guy, in other words, if the Kings had Giannis Antetokounmpo on this team, would they win a championship? I don't think so, but they would be a serious contender.
And that brings us to talking about teams way back when. Time for Jay's throwback question.
Okay,
Jerry, this is always my favorite part. Do you have time today? I know we caught you.
I have time for Jay anytime.
All right, Jay.
Legend, I want to take you back to, and let me make sure I have the date correct. That would be June 27th, 1989, and it happened in New York City. And in the celebration of my guy, Doug Christie, getting a job, I want to talk about, which is a celebration, I want to talk about a low light of the Sacramento Kings, and you happen to be around, unfortunately. Glad you were still getting checked. 1989, the Sacramento Kings had the number 1 pick, and they took Purvis Ellison. I just want to
remember it well. Yeah.
I'm glad you do, because I want to know how in the hell and who made the decision to take Purvis Ellison over some of the names like Sean Elliott, Glenn Rice, guys like that. And can you just take me into like draft day, take me into the war room? How did Purvis Ellison become the pick?
Well, he was the pick all along, I guess. I mean, Bill Russell was the general manager, and we never brought anybody in to work out. Bill said he knew who he wanted and who the best guy was. And so, because I was a coach at the time, and I asked him if I could, call and talk to that. I wanted to call and talk to the guy at least before the draft to get some idea, if he speak English or whatever. And but Bill said no. I said I don't want you to do that. He said because if you do, it might get out that we're going to take him. And I told Bill, I said, well, Bill, we got the number 1 pick. Ain't nobody can jump in front of us. So, but anyway, yeah, that was that was the thing at that time. Now, the guy, and I didn't do much scouting. I mean, Bill was pretty much that was his thing. But the only guy that I really did like a lot was Sean Elliott. But I didn't necessarily want to push for him personally, because at that time, sadly, we had Ricky Berry, and I thought Ricky was clearly better than Sean Elliott, and I wouldn't deviate from that one iota. Berry was going to be better than Paja for sure too, and but anyway, what happened. But anyway, it wasn't the best of times. Jay, I'll tell you that. And then Purvis, Purvis was talented, by the way. He had a 20 and 10 year in Washington, just the year his rookie contract was running out, and he got another one. And then something happened, and he dropped a piano on his foot and was never able to play again.
There you go. Yeah.
And Danny Ainge always told me he was convinced he did it on purpose, but I don't know if that's true or not. I do know for a fact that my brief time with Purvis, a very likable guy, but I'll tell you, he was a guy who really did not like to play basketball. And that's a flaw for those of you that are interested. I've always said that's kind of one of the reasons you do kind of want to work guys out. And I think even more importantly, have psychological tests, which we used to do a lot more of. But I love Bill Russell, but that was probably one of his eccentric C's that probably didn't work out real well.
Jerry, we've been talking about this week relative to the NFL draft. It's harder now because you got guys coming out of college. They've already been paid in some cases. So it's even harder, to get. You don't want to get somebody who doesn't love football or basketball, because in some cases now guys like, I've already been paid. I don't even need the money. So you got to be extra careful.
Absolutely. It's scary. What somebody was telling me the other day, that was true, but Page's son is getting $3 million or plus from Illinois.
Wow.
Is that why he's jumping around so much?
I think that's why they all jump around, Kyle. Yeah. I mean, really, it's just like everybody's a free agent every year.
Yeah.
And so, I go to Siwash State one year and then average 20, and they give me $200,000. Then I go to East Jesus Tech and they'll give me $500,000. So I'll go there and that sort of thing. And it's, I don't think it benefits anybody. I'm glad to see players get money. Don't get me wrong. The NCAA should have allowed that a long time ago to some level, but it's a wild, wild west out there. And there ain't no sheriffs.
No. Before we let you go, anything surprised you so far as what you've seen in the playoffs?
Well, I can't say anything. Well, it's been so many good series. I mean, I knew the Denver Clipper series I thought would be the best, and I think it is. And I certainly have been like the Rockets and the Warriors. I would like to see the Warriors lose. I'm kind of a little bit like Kyle there.
Yeah, he's a Warrior fan this series.
Well, the only thing I disagree with you a little bit, Kyle, is that the Warriors, they're a rival for the Kings. I'm not sure the Kings are a rival for the Warriors.
I hear you.
I think there's a road this franchise needs to go down before we can say that.
Yeah. That road is the I-80 for a
So
playoff.
I just wanted to, to kind of make sure you guys are on the right path. I try to guide you as well as I can.
We appreciate it. Yes. We're still
and yes, Jay, I appreciate that. And yes, I'm totally innocent.
That boy,
that was his decision.
Jerry.
You can't find DNA anywhere on me on that deal.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you guys.
All right, Jerry.
Wow, it's the first time.
That's dope.
First time Jay took Jerry back to some unhappy Kings memories, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the crazy part is I was sitting there looking at it, and I think I saw this. I don't know if I sent it to you guys or not. I came across a social network, and it was showing every team's last number one pick. And, of course, that's the only number one pick here for the Sacramento Kings in 89. I was like, dang. Because if you look at it, even if you're in the 30s, you don't know who the hell Purvis Ellison is. I barely know who Purvis Ellison is, right? Yeah. And so I had to really go back and look at the 89 draft. Fellas, if you look at the 89 draft, the best player, and there's no slight to him, is Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
He's the best player of the 89 draft.
Yes.
Now, Vlade Divac, Hall of Famer. We would probably say Tim is better than Vlade, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, you got Sean Elliott, champion, but nothing out of the ordinary. Glenn Rice was a hell of a shooter.
Yeah.
Super dope, depending on if you like him or not. Mookie Blaylock, Dana Barros, a heck of a shooter. Shouts out to the Celtics. Supersonics. Sean Kemp, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And BJ Armstrong. And then you got Clifford Robinson, Dino Raja. Beyond that, it's like, dang. So I say all that to say, of course, the year the Kings get the number one pick, there's really no gimme.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Bill Russell with that kind of old school thinking that we got to build a team, and you got to build a team around a center, and this guy has a chance to be the best center, and that's our pick. And it didn't work out.
Right. And let me say, it wasn't like Purvis was a slouch, though.
No, in Louisville, right?
In Louisville, he was.
In 86, he was the most outstanding player of the tournament
as a freshman. He had a really good college career, just didn't translate to the pros.
He was never nervous Purvis, but by the time he got in the pros, it's like, does he even have a pulse, Purvis?
Yeah.
Damn. He didn't want to hoop? How do you not even want to hoop and you're the number one pick?
And he averaged 17.6 and 8.7 rebounds in college as a senior. 17.6, 8, like he was wildly consistent his entire college career. And it's hard to imagine not loving basketball and being able to do that.
Yeah.
Like if you had a motor, what could you have become?
Mm-hmm,
you know?
If you look at the 89 draft, fellas, there's great names. They're, rotational pieces, guys like the Danny Ferries, J.R. Reed, love J.R. Reed, friend of the show, Stacey King.
Yep.
There's some great people. Nick Anderson's part of that, Michael Smith. There's a bunch of guys, but it's minus Tim Hardaway, Sean Kemp, maybe Vlade Divac. Beyond that, there's really no just stars. There's probably 3 stars in that whole draft. And that's Glenn Robinson was a star at one point in time too. So I give him 4, but Uncle Clifford, love Uncle Clifford.
Yeah.
Loved him. Yeah, absolutely. Sherman Douglas played for a long, Kenny Battle played for a while. There's some guys that balled and did their thing. It's just crazy how the Kings luck and history tells the story.
Jay, that really speaks to the logic behind Uber tanking. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's the logic behind it is if you have one bad year, then you have the first pick, it might be a draft that doesn't help.
Right.
So you have to do it for like 3 or 4 years in a row to maximize your chances of getting the guy.
Hit that
He's got one shot at it, and that guy, they didn't get him, but it's possible he wasn't there. He certainly wasn't the guy that they picked.
Yeah, when you look back in history, there's 3 Hall of Famers from that year. Tim Hardaway jumped ship quick, though. Golden State jumped ship super fast. Said Glenn Robinson bounced around a couple times. He got drafted, of course, by the Miami Heat. Played at Charlotte for a long time, LA, things like that.
Teams,
absolutely. So it's one of those things where, you know, Sean Kemp played for the Sonics. I guess that'd be the one person who really played for his team for the most part.
Yeah.
But man, it just, you look at the 89 draft and you say, of all years, it wasn't a gimme year for.
How about this, fellas? I just wanted to Google real quick teams with the most number one draft picks in NBA history.
Ooh. Cavs
6, Wizards 6, Rockets 5. Look at who the Rockets drafted number one overall. They had 5 picks. Elvin Hayes, the Big E.
They were in San Diego then.
John Lucas, San Diego, right? Ralph Sampson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Yao Ming.
Boy, they've hit.
Yeah. The Kings actually have 5, but only one since 1960.
Was Oscar Robertson one of them?
Yeah. 1960, the Big O, Bob Boozer in 59, Hot Rod Hundley in 57, and Cy Green in 56. Outside of that, Purvis Ellison. Over the last 55 years, we've had one number one overall pick. That's criminal, man. That's Atlanta Hawks 4, Milwaukee Bucks 4. But yeah, as bad as we've been, we should have more than one number one pick.
I hate this idea, but you've probably heard it. I'm just wondering what you think of it. Some have suggested that you have in the draft lottery, it's like a wheel where every so often everybody gets a shot.
Yeah.
Like you take turns.
Turns.
Not based on your record. It's like whether it's your turn or not. I think that's a terrible idea. You think it'll work?
And that's including championship team, like
I think
everybody.
When it's your turn, it's your turn.
Nah, then that's every 30 years you get number one.
It doesn't. I don't think it works.
How about the Spurs, fellas? 3 number one picks. Robinson, Duncan, and Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Damn.
They've got lucky.
They've got every year they got a generational talent to select.
And it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Like those 3 years, they're self-explanatory.
Right. There's like, of course you're going to take this.
Yeah, right. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah. When we come back, the 4 biggest reasons why Doug Christie got the job and why Jerry says all the rest of it doesn't matter. If it's the right decision, it doesn't matter with the draft, guys. When we come right back. Sacktown Sports.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, the A's call-up of last year's first-round pick and 4th selection overall in the draft, Nick Kurtz, is not surprising, but his rise through the A's minor league system is pretty astounding. Kurtz has played in only 32 minor league games, but the numbers are eye-popping. A .336 average, 11 home runs, and 37 RBIs. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Jose Leclerc, right-handed pitcher out with that right lat strain, is currently shut down from throwing. Will receive a second opinion with the doctor this week. Zach Geloff, out with that fractured right hand, is set to begin a rehab assignment with AAA Las Vegas this week as well. Goal is to get around 35 at-bats, and that will put him in line for a return in early May. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked.
underwear, and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something?
Boat wins!
Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing?
Boat wins!
Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Ready to order.
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back for another thrilling season at Monterey's iconic WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, May 9th through the 11th. Only in Monterey can you experience a high-octane mix of international drivers, cutting-edge prototypes, and GT sports cars racing wheel to wheel. There'll be gourmet food, wine, craft beers, family entertainment, and exclusive fan engagement with the drivers in the open race paddock. Buy your tickets now and experience world-class motorsports. Visit WeatherTechRaceway.com.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Yeah, Doug Christie is finalizing that deal with the Kings. We're just awaiting the official word. And I know there's a lot of angst around town, Drapes, on social media, on the airwaves about, yeah, but whose decision was it? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. But I trust the wisdom of Jerry Reynolds, who says it's the right decision no matter how they arrived at it. And so onward and upward from there.
Yeah, I agree. And like he said, ultimately, it'll be about whether the wins come or not. No matter how you get the job, the question is, can you do it? And, can you build a winner? And honestly, I don't think Scott Perry would be told, if you take this job, Doug's your coach. And if he was told that, he must be okay with Doug being the head. Like, think about it like this way. If you're Scott Perry and you have no faith in Doug, you don't believe he's going to be a good head coach, why would you take the job?
Mm-hmm.
If he's going to flame out, why? That's a reflection on you. you might get fired too. So I think, and I go back to his press conference. We were both there. Jay was there also. All three of us were there. Everything he described about how he wants to play is some of the same things Doug was talking about. And so I do feel like they are aligned in the kind of identity and roster they both want to build.
It sure looks like it.
Right.
Although if you're going to be jaded, you could say, well, of course, Scott Perry described Doug Christie when he was talking about what he wants his team to be because he knew he was going to be the coach. I don't know. To me, there's four main reasons why Doug Christie is going to be the head coach. One is the record that they put up when he was 27-24.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
Yep.
So with everything, as convoluted as it was and with everything going on, they had a winning record with him as a first-time head coach. You also have the fact we know that Vivek Ranadive has been grooming Doug for this moment for years. He was on a couple staffs before he got the job. So you know that Vivek Ranadive wanted Doug to succeed, and they didn't succeed. Also, you've got players who have come forward, and I know it was reported on social media. Who was it, Jay, that said, oh, yes, the Kings were undecided, but you had a lot of players, and they had
Brett Siegel. Brett Siegel. Yeah,
gushing praise or a lot of praise for Doug Christie. And we know that that's the type of thing, if I'm being honest, I would look at that and go, yeah, I mean, maybe that happened, but we know because you told us last week that it was happening. Yep. Yeah. And then fourth, and you've also got to consider Doug's probably not going to be as expensive as some of the other coaches might be. Now, we don't, they could have brought in a first-time coach, and maybe that wouldn't have been a factor. But I think those are the four biggest reasons why he's the guy right now going forward.
Yeah. And, and those are all good reasons too. I mean, they're still paying Mike Brown.
Yeah.
And ultimately it is a business. But I go back to your first thing. Vivek is clearly a believer in Doug Christie. I mean, Doug left the broadcast booth to jump on Luke Walton's staff. Not because Luke said, hey, I want to get Doug. It was ownership. Hey, why don't you think about coaching?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a conversation. Sure. Luke, why don't you bring Doug on? And then, it takes off from there. And so
then he was on Mike Brown's staff.
And so he's paid his dues. He's been here a few years in that role as an assistant coach. And, were there some issues with the team, the organization, the franchise on the bench? Yes. Were they the fault of Doug Christie? I'm not going to give him, the majority of blame. I mean, Doug takes part of the blame. He wasn't perfect, no doubt about that. But I think he showed enough to say, you know what? Something might be there.
Since you brought it up, I got to ask you, are we talking about there was some friction on the staff this year?
Well, I believe, anytime you fire a coach who brought in his own assistants,
mm-hmm.
and then those assistants stay, they feel a certain type of way.
They feel loyal to the guy that's
right,
not there
loyal
anymore,
to the guy that's there.
And they're not necessarily in any hurry to bend the knee to the new guy.
And let's remember, Doug was already here before Mike Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike Brown had to inherit Doug.
Yes.
So Doug was never one of Mike Brown's guys. And so I do believe there's probably a little friction in terms of, who are you loyal to? Which guy, we're Mike Brown guys. They did them wrong, the organization,
Mm-hmm.
and that's, there was a lot of turmoil and drama when it comes to that, which is only natural. That happens in all, it's all sports, and that's why when we talk about Scott Perry coming on or a new head coach, they want their guys. Jerry Reynolds said it. Doug needs to find his guys he trusts, guys he want to work with. And now that he's gotten the job, I'm interested to see which assistants he brings back, who knew that he brings in. And so, that's one thing I'm looking for.
Yeah, because there's got to be that level of trust there because we're trying to win games. We're working together. Say in the trenches, that's probably a little over dramatic.
Yeah.
But basically, that's what you need, right? Because you're trying to keep your job and win games, and you need to trust the guy that you're preparing those game plans with. And maybe last year maybe it wasn't where it could have been ideally.
Yeah, and the thing too is, if I have a chance to talk to Doug, ultimately,
we'll get him on.
Yeah, we'll definitely get him on. I already texted him about that. I'm sure Jay's working behind the scenes as well. But ultimately, you're only as good as the people around you. And so going forward, depending on who Doug hires, it's almost like Kyle Shanahan with the Niners. If you don't trust Steve Wilkes, why you got him on there? Like, you got to get somebody, you trust. And so I think that's, what we'll see with Doug here when he brings in his people.
Yeah, so that's obviously very important going forward, but it comes down to who's going to be on the team once they start making those decisions. Yeah.
And let me say this, though, real quick, Wade, because we're talking so much about the roster and everything like that. Talent isn't the only thing that wins championships. You can have talent, but not have we see it with this team. I'm looking for some of the intangibles on this roster going forward. Whereas maybe you don't get the most talented player, but you get an impactful player. I feel like we have talent, but my issue when I watch us play is, and the great Tommy Heinsohn, used to always say this, and you hear coaches say it all the time. You got 12 different players. After the game, 12 different cabs. Mm-hmm. Everybody just goes their separate way.
That was an issue with this team last season?
I think so. I think there needs to be more team bonding. I think there needs to be more leadership from the players, accountability. Mike Brown talked about it as well. And so those are the things, talent is one thing, but talent only isn't just going to win you a championship. You look at a team like OKC. How close do they look?
Oh, man.
My God.
They do interviews together.
They're inseparable.
Commercials
right?
together, yeah.
I mean, like,
it kind of makes you sick.
Right. It's a love fest. It's a love fest. How about the Warriors, who I'm not a fan of? What did Jimmy Butler say after the game? I would die for these guys. He only been there 2 months, Whitey.
Right.
But he already has that connection with his team.
Him and Buddy are best friends.
Right. All of a sudden, Buddy's being praised for defense, Whitey. How about that? You buying that from Steve Kerr?
I don't know what world I'm in anymore.
And so that's what I'm talking. It's not always just about the talent. It's about how they fit together. How do they come together as a unit? And that's what I think we need going forward.
We'll look at a couple of names of players that have Scott Perry connections. Would they be good fits here? And what's next for the Kings now that the coach is all but hired? Next on Sacktown Sports.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Granger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, the A's call-up of last year's first-round pick and 4th selection overall in the draft, Nick Kurtz, is not surprising, but his rise through the A's minor league system is pretty astounding. Kurtz has played in only 32 minor league games, but the numbers are eye-popping. A .336 average, 11 home runs, and 37 RBIs. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Drapes just mentioned that Buddy Hield's being praised for his defense. So it's starting to feel like reality is crumbling around us. Then I saw this from Hoops Hype on X. Guess who has tied Peja Stojakovic in playoff three-pointers and is now top 50 in NBA history? You saw this?
I saw that.
Draymond Green.
That's crazy. That is crazy. What's Draymond averaging? One a game, if that? Like, how many? Do you know the number, Whitey?
I don't know the number. I know that he probably shoots close to as many as Peja, because when Peja played, they didn't shoot that many.
Damn. Look up Peja.
And, Draymond's been playing in a lot of playoff games.
Yeah, he's every year. Every year.
Games.
Yeah, no, you're right. Peja, highest season total. He shot 6.8 1 year in sack.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Okay, that's not bad. 6.8 with the Hornets. Man, he bounced around after he left sack, huh?
He did.
He moved around a lot.
Indiana, Dallas, and
Toronto
Orleans.
for 2 games. Hornets. He bounced around. NOK. New Orleans,
OKC.
Oh, New Orleans, yeah. He was part of that too. Dang. Okay. 13 games that season with them.
You know what? I'll never forget about him getting traded.
What?
Apparently, Aileen Voisin in the B wrote that Charles Barkley said that the Pacers might trade Ron Artest for Peja Stojakovic. Ron Artest sees that. He's like, well, I got to get out in front of that. I'm going to demand a trade. He demands a trade. He ends up getting traded for Peja Stojakovic.
Really?
Funny thing is, Charles Barkley never said it.
It was a manufacturer.
She made a mistake or something, or someone told her something. So how twisted is that?
And it actually came.
Yeah.
Wow. So what you're saying is crazy trades that people throw out actually,
yes.
Somebody might be sitting like, that's a good idea, actually. Wow.
Now you talk about, people throw things around. What's the definition of irony? Well, it's like it's the opposite of what you intend.
Right.
So I want to demand a trade so it don't get traded to Sacramento. Okay, you're traded to Sacramento.
Interesting.
How about this, Drape? Some guys that I've been thinking about that have connections to Scott Perry, wondering, would they come here? Would they make any sense here? I'll start with a big fish first. When he was the GM of the Knicks, Scott Perry drafted a guy who's got a player option coming up this year, unrestricted next season. He has been a guy that we've been talking about as a good fit for the Kings for a long time. People right now are talking about how animated he's been on the floor in these playoffs. Bobby Portis.
And what's his contract situation?
Bobby Portis has a player option.
At what?
12? Let's see. After next year, pardon me. He has a player option after next year at 13.4. Right now he's at 12.5. And then he's unrestricted in 26, 27. So again, you'd have to trade him.
And how old is he now?
He right now 29.
That's it?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Okay.
I'm still interested.
Mm-hmm.
Just saw too. Bucks play the Pacers. Portis inserted into the starting lineup tonight. He's starting tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I like Portis.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
No, I do.
I bet. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, he fits. Would you be open to that?
Yeah.
I don't know what. Is Milwaukee in a sell-off situation, you think, after this season?
Yeah, if they get blown out tonight, maybe.
Right, maybe.
It depends on Giannis.
Right.
Like, what do you want, Giannis? What do you want us to do?
Keep an eye on that, because if Giannis demands a trade, that means everybody's available, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lopez, Portis. Then you're trying to tear it down to the studs if you're Milwaukee, I would imagine, if Giannis demands.
And then the other guy I saw on the bench last night for the Warriors, and he doesn't play. He was a high draft pick of Scott Perry with the Knicks. 6'7", plays both forward spots. Would you take a flyer maybe on Kevin Knox? And he obviously would be like, roll the dice, filler. He brings you some length. I wonder how Scott, you know how guys are sometimes.
Yeah.
We're all like that. You have our
That's
guys.
a tough one, Whitey. And I'm because I've thought about Kevin Knox a lot over the last few years. Like, why hasn't it worked for him? Is he sort of like Jimmer Fredette almost, or Nick Stauskas, supposed to be a shooter, but can't shoot. That's who Kevin Knox is, right? He's supposed to have been a dead-eye shooter coming out of Kentucky, but it hasn't translated. But he's found, at least for this season, a spot on the Warriors.
Because I think he's restricted this year, and I can't imagine the Warriors are really
they're not going. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. So again, I'm not saying he answers all your
some length.
Yeah,
off the bench, maybe an 8th or 9th man, 10th man, something like that.
Yeah,
I'd be interested.
I know if I were a GM and I drafted a guy 6 years ago and he never quite panned out, there's a good chance that I would feel like, you know what, I think I'm right about him. I think I'm right years later. So,
yeah, I'm looking at Kevin Knox's numbers here.
There aren't many of them,
dude. But what happened, Whitey?
I know
his rookie year, 12.8 points.
Yeah.
Shot 34% from 3. Not,
For a rookie year, it's like, we got some there.
Second year, 6.4 points, 3.9 points. It just went down. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. And he was a lottery pick, right? 7 overall, something like that.
Was he 8? Something like that.
Yeah, something like 9th overall. 9th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm interested because I feel like we need to build out the depth of this roster. I will say this, though. Re-signing Jake LaRavia might change all that. Like, if I got Jake LaRavia, Kevin Knox becomes my 10th, 11th man. Like, he's not a difference maker. But if I lose Jake LaRavia, all right, maybe I'll take a look at it.
I just think that even with Jake LaRavia, you still need more depth there. That's why Jake LaRavia stood out so much. He was so valuable because you had Keegan and you had Jake LaRavia, and as far as your legitimate anything approaching a 3-and-D wing, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, but so Knox ain't D'ing anybody up, though.
Well, I know.
Yeah, we know that, right? Yeah. Kevin Knox ain't playing any defense. Another guy.
You say so.
Cam Reddish. What about Cam Reddish? He's the D, but without the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are guys that lottery picks, great college careers. They didn't just forget how to play basketball, right? There's something in there that made them get to where they are. And Kevin Knox is only 25 years old. Dude is still young.
I know.
He seemed like he'd been around forever. He's still young.
What about another Scott Perry drafted guy?
Ooh,
you'd have to swing a deal, but I think he's a favorite of yours. I don't know if you have what it takes to pursue RJ Barrett.
Dude, don't tease me.
RJ Barrett.
Don't tease me like that. I will say this. I'd be willing to give up a lot to get RJ Barrett. But Toronto's not interested in that. He's doing like he's one of the leaders of that franchise up there in Toronto. Him and Scotty Barnes, they got something going on up there. I'm looking at some of his numbers. 21 points this season, 6 rebounds. How about this, Whitey? 5.4 assists.
Wow.
That's impressive. That's a scorer and a facilitator.
I think DeMar would want to go not home, but to his home across the border.
DeMar ain't going back to Toronto. I read his book. He ain't going back to Toronto. Really? I don't think, but RJ Barrett, I would love to have on this team, especially playing with Domas. He's a guy that can handle the rock, facilitate, is looking to dish to others. Last year he only took 16.9 shots.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay 3-point shooter, Whitey, right? 35% last year, 39.2 the year before. He's serviceable. Somebody.
No, I'm laughing because Fosse says, "I'm sorry, but what are we doing? Kevin Knox? Really? All I'm saying is
he's just going through Scott Perry guys.
A Scott Perry guy that you could get, and it kind of has roster fodder. You can take a shot on. I'm not saying
none of these guys, except for RJ Barrett.
Yeah, RJ Barrett.
Not Bobby Portis.
Ooh.
Yeah, I take Portis.
Yeah,
I apologize. You're right. I forgot about Portis.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard getting these guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what? I could get you Kevin Knox.
Yeah, Kevin Knox. We get
no disrespect to Double K, but let him stay down there right now.
Golden State might even drive him up here for us. They might deliver.
They pay the on the mega bus.
Yeah, he said the mega bus. Yeah,
we'll pay for your Uber.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Those out of those guys, RJ Barrett would probably be the top of my list. Than Bobby Portis. Scott Perry has drafted some talent. Some misses too, no doubt about it. But of those guys, I think, RJ is up.
Couldn't Bobby Portis be a guy who would come here, assuming he'd be productive, also fill a need? He can shoot. He's got size.
Yeah.
And also, he gives you a little of that.
Yes, he does.
Wild eyes.
Right.
Look out,
Yes.
I'm coming for you.
We need that, Whitey.
Yes.
I'm all for that. Yes. And here's the thing. Now you slide Keegan to the 3 spot, too.
Yeah.
And now you got size along that front line that we're talking about. You might, what would it take? Not a whole lot,
depends
right?
on where the Bucks are.
Is he worth a first? Protected? Top 14 protected? I don't know about
Probably
that.
is.
Is he?
No way. Bobby P?
You giving up a first, Jay?
No.
Top 14 protected?
No, because I think we've had conversation in the form of we tried to put value on like DeMontis Sabonis, and we've tried to put value on like DeMar and guys like that. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys have said, hey, listen, that might only get you one first,
but I have
2 first, maybe, you know.
The Kings have 2 number ones, not in this draft, but the next year, because they have their own and they have a San Antonio.
In 2027,
Yeah.
I believe it is.
Yeah. That's like extra.
Yeah.
Right. But my thing is, what I'm saying to you is if Domas is only going to bring you 1, maybe 2, then Bobby Portis is bringing you 1? Nah, that's
Well, if you can get them for less, then yes, by all means, get them for less.
Yeah. I don't think Bobby P. I don't think you need a first-round draft pick for Bobby P.
But you got to give up a player, though.
True.
Right? If somebody of stature, you know.
Yeah.
And is that a Devin Carter in a second? Or I don't know. I don't know.
He's almost like, as a rookie, almost like a draft pick.
Right.
Can I get Knox up here in the Uber and then send him off?
No, I don't think Milwaukee would want that.
All right.
Yeah.
We're thinking anyway.
All right.
We're
We're
working
throwing
on it.
out some names. I see you.
What's next?
We need Scott Perry to make his first move. And I think once that first move is made, fellas, then we could kind of see where, you know, he's putting the pieces of the puzzle to. That first move is going to be as they say, your first move is your best move. We need it to be the best move.
Mm-hmm. Now, Fossey, the guy who came after me about Kevin Knox, he says, swing big, get Giannis. He's playing in what could be his last game as a Buck right now.
Fossey. We don't have the tools to get Giannis.
Trade everything.
Fossey, to quote you, I'm sorry, but what are we doing?
What are we doing here, right? What do we have to offer?
Everything, Drapes. Everything.
And that's still not enough.
Well, it depends on but it depends on, as Whitey said, it depends on what Milwaukee is doing. If Giannis is leaving, then they're tearing, you said it too, you're tearing it down to the foundation, right?
But
so you're taking anything.
No way, even if the Bucks and Kings agreed on something, the Bucks said, we love this, there's no way Giannis would say, okay, that's where I want to go.
Well,
dude,
agreed.
Brooklyn got like 20 first-round picks. OKC got 10, 20 first-round picks.
Which means you got to give up everything.
But we don't even have enough to give up.
But you see, that's not the question, though. The question is, what could we give up? Everything. We could give up everything.
Yeah,
that's the finality of it.
And I'm not saying Giannis doesn't like Sacramento. It's just if he is going to go somewhere, he wants another shot at a championship.
Right.
And like coming to Sacramento with nothing left. Like,
that's
we
true.
tore everything down to
That's
get you.
true.
He's going to go.
If he's forcing his way out of Milwaukee,
yes.
Why would he be happy here in Sacramento?
Yeah.
To me, that probably sounds sort of like a megastar deal where almost like Luka for AD, Giannis for, I don't know, Durant or somebody. You know, it got to be something like that because if you're Giannis, you're not going to – it's almost like Carmelo Anthony when he got traded to the Knicks. Knicks got rid of everybody, and then Melo gets there, and the cupboards are kind of bare.
Right.
And it's like, what does that do you, Giannis?
Mm-hmm. What's next for the Kings? We'll look at that also. Looks like the Rockets just aren't ready, but they are not done yet. Drive Guys right back with that and more.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
Sacramento River Cats baseball is here, and the Cats Pass is your all-access pass to the full 2025 season. Enjoy access to every single home game at Sutter Health Park at unbeatable value. Cats Pass holders receive access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club on select dates, along with upgrades and guest options. Join us for unbeatable value with the Sacramento River Cats all season long. Get your Cats Pass today at rivercats.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Sky River Casino, Hop Valley Brewing, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the best truck on the market, the 2025 Ram 1500. And that's not an exaggeration. It's proven. It's the 7th time Ram has won the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Car and Driver named it one of its 10 best vehicles of 2025, giving it a 10 out of 10. And at J.D. Power, it's #1 when it comes to brand vehicle quality. And hey, yeah, all that's great. But where Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram really separates themselves from the pack is their car buying experience. Come on in and see for yourself why they say it's where a handshake still means something.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com or an instant quote, or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
From Vangarang in the Chateau. I love Christie. Kings needed a more established coach. Doug Christie it's all but official now. He's going to be the next coach of the Kings. Let's talk about it, Drapes. I think it's good to hear how people are feeling about this. The Kings need a more established coach. I understand the viewpoint. I don't think they necessarily do because they have a veteran team.
Yeah. And
they responded to him last year. It's a fair point, but I don't see it that way.
Yeah, I would love to know from Vangarang why. Why do they need a more established coach? Didn't we have an established coach and Mike Brown, and that flamed out this season?
Tell us why, Vangarang.
Yeah, I think we just need a coach, A, that knows what they're doing, but B, can connect and get the respect of the players. Like, you can be established, you can have great X's and O's, but if the players aren't buying in and respect you, it doesn't matter. And so I think that's where, Doug stands out. I do believe he does have the ear of the players. One of the challenges for him, though, I think this past season and going forward is it's one thing to be an assistant coach. Assistant coach is almost like the good cop, good cop, bad cop. Assistant coach is the guy that everybody complains to about playing time and, oh man, how come coach won't play? They're the counselor. Now, when you move to that head seat, which Doug is in now, it'll be interesting to see how that relationship changes. We saw it for 51 games this past season, but now players are complaining about Doug. He's not playing me. You know what I mean? So yeah. I want to see how that relationship changes over this upcoming season.
I remember years ago reading about that dynamic, and this is what I always think of when we discuss that. I remember John Elway talking about Kyle's dad, Mike Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Shanahan had been the offensive coordinator, and he and John Elway were like, they got along great. But as soon as Mike Shanahan became the head coach, things changed.
Right.
That whole dynamic.
That whole
We're not
dynamic.
buddy anymore.
Exactly. It's totally different. And, I know Doug experienced some of that this past season. And so it'll be interesting to see how it manifests itself this upcoming season.
I understand that a lot of fans look at this and go, wait a minute, there's so many great coaches out there. And I don't think they really even look for the other coaches. And let's examine that. Like I said, I understand the frustration. Jerry Reynolds said it when he joined us. He said, look, if Spo was out there and he was interested in coming here, he said, you'd have to hire him. And Doug Christie would probably understand.
Right.
Obviously, well, I mean, some people think now that he's on thin ice. I don't imagine that he is.
Who?
I don't know. It's Spo.
No, he's not.
Oh, they
He's
lost.
fine. No.
He culture's dead. He's out.
No,
I don't think
Spo's
so.
fine. He's good.
Other than that, yeah, Michael Malone. Well, that's not
good.
Yeah. Taylor Jenkins.
Okay.
I don't feel like Taylor Jenkins is such a great established coach that if you're the Kings, you got to go, hold on, Doug. Whoa, we got to investigate this. There's a lot of real interesting names like Sam Cassell, for example. They haven't been a head coach either. So given what the Kings have, I understand why people feel that way, but I don't feel that way. I don't think the Kings are turning a blind eye to all these great opportunities. You have all these coaches out there. No, I think this is the right move for them. Time will tell.
And what if they think their guy is the great opportunity?
Yeah, I think they do.
Yes,
Yes.
I mean? It's not like,
Exactly.
oh, we just going to hire Doug just because he's been here or anything like that. What if they see in him a potential great coach? And so, forget about everybody else. We got a guy right here that we like, and so I think it's a good move. And ultimately, Whitey, time will tell. This upcoming season, these next couple seasons. My question is, and Sham's report is a multi-year deal that they're working on. How much time does Doug get? Will we know this upcoming season whether it was a good hire? Does he need a couple of years, you think, to build? If I'm Sacramento, if I'm the Kings, all this turnover got to stop. We got to commit to something, and I'm talking a good 3 to 5 years, Whitey. Like, unless it's just terrible, unless it's just downright awful, where 9-73 or something like that. But if we got a heat culture, because you brought it up, I'll tag one of that. It didn't just happen overnight. It takes time to build a culture. Brad Stevens in Boston didn't win a championship his first year. It took time. And so for Doug, for Scott Perry, hopefully they get the time, at minimum 3 years, to start building something here.
A big component of heat culture is the fact that if you're a player on that team and Spo's saying, do this, do that, this is the way we do it, as a player, he has the backing of the front office because he always has.
Right.
So that when he says something, you can't I'm going to talk to Pat Riley about this.
Yeah.
That won't get you very far.
Yeah.
In this town with this team, that has proven to work. We've seen it where players are unhappy with the coach.
And they
Next
go
thing you know,
behind.
yes, that just has happened here. So that needs to be cleaned up if you're going to have any sort of culture, any sort of stability.
Well, and that's one of the things I think, Mike Brown lacked here in Sacramento. It's the backing of management / ownership,
Yeah.
It's, the report came out that few guys wanted him gone this offseason. No, come out and say, this is our coach.
Exactly. Right.
That never happened.
Right.
Mike Brown got to be the fall guy for it. Doug Christie, hopefully Scott Perry. It's like, no, these are our guys. This is what we're rocking with.
Yeah.
If you can't and Scott Perry talked about it. He said he wanted volunteers, not hostages. If you can't get on board with them, hey, we'll find somewhere else for you to go.
When's the last time you heard somebody on the Heat complaining about the coach? And I get as annoyed by Heat culture as anybody.
I can't remember the last time.
Maybe Jimmy. Where's Jimmy now?
Right.
He's not there anymore.
Right.
Now, Luke Walton. How long did Luke Walton last? Because Luke Walton, I believe, was and I wasn't here for all of that, but Luke Walton If I remember correctly, if my facts are straight, he was a big Vivek guy. Vivek really wanted Luke Walton. But when things went sideways, that was it for Luke Walton, even though he was a Vivek guy. So hopefully Doug will have more substantial backing from ownership.
Yeah. And I'm looking at Luke Walton's record, 31-31, 31-41, 6-11 before he was fired. I don't believe the players looked and respected Luke Walton. If I'm calling it like I see it, I was here for, 2 seasons, season and a half, whatever it is. I don't think the players, and here's the thing too, I will say this, and I'm glad Scott Perry's here, because you need a grown-up in the organization. It's not just all on Doug and the players. It has to be an organizational philosophy. Like, everybody got to be from top down, And so I'm hoping Scott Perry sort of, how should I put this? Bring some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like class and togetherness from the top down. Because before, and no offense to Monty, was it Monty making the decision? Was it Wes?
You need that structural
structure. Yeah. We know who the top dog is. It goes Vivek, then Scott Perry. That's how it goes. There's not going to be some assistant GM that you got to go through, or he's making all the calls and everything like that. It's going to be Scott Perry's show out there.
Somebody on the text line says, with the roster mess, the coach won't matter, from the 916. Well, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. It's really going to come down to who's on the team, but you got to do everything in order, and you got to have the coach in place, and then the coaching staff. Yeah, that's where the rubber hits the road. It all matters, but you're right. The roster is the most important thing. The players on the team.
Yeah, you got to have
the most important thing.
Yeah. Unless you're like Larry Brown or Spo that can coach guys up, but you got to have the players. And so that's Scott Perry's charge, man. It's going out there, bringing in some talent. But like I said, it's not just about talent. It's about leadership in the organization, leadership behind the scenes. We talking about Giannis. We know Giannis is a leader. Everybody looks to him as the face of the franchise. Who's our face? We don't have one right now.
We're looking. Yeah, we're looking. Do we have Jim Murphy coming up? Yeah, Jim Murphy.
Oh,
you know who that is?
Yeah.
He wrote the book that your guy A.J. Brown was reading during the playoffs. We'll get back to all the Kings conversation, but
got it right here.
It's a special, kind of like leftover thing for Drape's birthday that we're going to have. Jim Murphy, the author of Inner Excellence. He might have some things to say that'll apply to you, your life, and also the Kings as they try to figure things out. Jim Murphy's next year. As the Drive Guys come right back on Sacktown Sports.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. Like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Rock the Bells presents LL Cool J.
So what you got Chanel on your feet? Hot sex on a platter makes the mission complete.
Live in concert. LL Cool J. Saturday, May 10th, the venue at Thunder Valley with DJ C-Trip. LL Cool J. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss LL Cool J live.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states and situations. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
For beginning golfers, not getting into bad habits gives you a much better chance of enjoying the game and shooting lower scores. John Howells in Golf Monthly says these mistakes should be avoided. First, know your club distances. Take your yardages not from your best or worst shot, but somewhere in the middle. And no dancing allowed. Swaying in the backswing is a common fault, which forces you to compensate in the downswing. Mastering impact. Trust the loft on the club face and don't try to lift the ball. Club face control. For right-handers, take care to set the perfect grip with 2 V's between thumb and forefinger pointing to your right shoulder. Bunker shots. Many struggle here because they fail to open the club face before hitting the shot. Turn the club before you take your grip. And finally, learn how to read greens and hole more putts. Even on a miss, putts that miss above the hole offer more chance of holding the putt. Now go out and have some fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Granger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com.
Became a sensation. Like, what's the book that he's reading? And the book is called Inner Excellence. And Drapes has it in his hand now. And since Drapes is a big Eagles guy, since we had an opportunity to have the author on, Jay, we kind of decided to do this for Drapes, right? It's kind of for Draper.
Yeah, it was a bonfire big time, celebrating the big milestone birthday, 50th. I figured we could stomach at least another segment, let him glow a little bit.
It's not about the Eagles, though. This is about this great book.
Yeah, but it's a bridge. It's a gap.
Yeah, that's how we got here, though. Yeah. And nice enough to join us, former pro baseball player. He wrote this book that took the football world and the nation by storm. Jim Murphy, author of Inner Excellence. How are you today, Jim?
Oh, great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I know you've told this story before, but could you please tell us what it was like to have your book explode in popularity when you didn't realize what had happened? I heard a story that you just checked one day. How's the book going? Not realizing it had been on national TV and the numbers just had gone through the roof.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy week. I mean, it would be crazy for anybody, but it was really unique what happened that week. My life was really kind of somber and slow at the time, and my mom was dying. Business was slow. I actually didn't pay off my credit cards that month, first time in years. And then I'm watching the game. I'm watching the Notre Dame Penn State bowl game, which was a week or two old. And then I look at my phone and I see all these texts. And so I thought my mom probably died because of all the texts.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you got to check out the Eagles game. And then I turned it on, and that was the first time I saw it, just like everybody else. That's when I found out. I knew that A.J. Brown was I saw a picture of him reading the book, but I had no context for it. And so I didn't know any backstory. I didn't know that he was bringing it to every game, reading it before every game, reading it between drives to get recentered. I learned that when everyone else did.
Good stuff, Jim. Hey, Jim, have you had a chance to connect with AJ on the book and, develop any kind of relationship at all?
Oh, yeah. Great guy. Big heart. Amazing guy.
Jim, I know you're a former baseball player. My understanding is you wrote the book for athletes. How much of what's in the book, Inner Excellence, do you think applies to people who aren't necessarily athletes?
Oh man, it's more important for them than for athletes, because athletes, they get an off season, they get trainers, they get coaches like myself, and just think of that person working 2-3 jobs, kids at home. They've got it much harder, much more pressure than the athletes do, and so this is for them. Because at first I thought I'm going to write a book, how to handle the most pressure that anyone could ever face. And so I was thinking Olympic athlete that trains for 4 years for an event that may last less than a minute, but it's, really the person that's working 2-3 jobs and they're trying to, put food on the table. That person's got the most pressure. And so this book is for them.
Jim, tell me about your journey. What led to you to become a performance coach, and how much of your own personal journey became a part of this book in terms of things you developed and discovered throughout the process?
Oh man, yeah, it's very, very personal. My identity was completely wrapped up in my career as a pro baseball player, and when I lost it, got injured and lost my career, I felt like I lost everything. I lost hope, I lost vision, everything. And I had no interest in coaching whatsoever. I was driving a truck for FedEx, and I got asked to coach a high school baseball team, inner city Seattle, and it just worked with my schedule. So I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. And then we went undefeated, and turned out I loved coaching, and so that's how I got into coaching. But I thought my destiny was to be a major league manager, and so I went and got a master's in coaching science and got a job at the Texas Rangers. But I quickly left that, and it just it wasn't a good fit, and I thought I was a total failure. Looking back, I see that it just was a box that I wasn't meant to fit in. And so I ended up leaving for the desert and to live a life of solitude, to find something that I could devote my life to, that I was willing to live and die for. And when I was in the desert, that's when I decided to become a personal coach to pro baseball players and teach them how to have peace and confidence under pressure. And from there, I decided to put together a little manual. My first 2 clients did amazing. And so then I thought I'll put together a little manual for future clients. And then I call up a sports psychologist and ask him, how can an Olympic athlete train for 4 years for an event that may last less than a minute and have confidence in that situation? And similarly, how can a pro baseball player, Game 7 of the World Series, bomb and I, full count, 2 outs, bases loaded, down by 1, how can that guy have peace and confidence? And it just brought more questions than answers. So I called another psychologist and another and another. And I spent 5 years full-time writing and researching that question. And that became the book, Inner Excellence.
Jim Murphy with us, the author of Inner Excellence. How did you realize when you'd come across what you consider the answer, or enough of the answers that you could put down in a book, the answers to that question that you just shared with us?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't set out to write a book. I was just putting together a little manual that I was going to stable together and give to my clients. And so it just turned into this 5-year process. And one of the things that I learned when I was in the desert was that the path to the most poise under the most pressure is the same path as having the best possible life, a life of deep contentment, joy, and confidence in any circumstance. And that path is a wholehearted one. If you want to help anyone be the best they can be, whether you're a coach or a parent or a counselor, you need to train their heart and train them to have an undivided heart and learn how to walk in love and not fear.
Jim, would you say is that the biggest challenge, I guess, that people face is, fear as they navigate through life?
Oh yeah, yeah, and fear comes from self-centeredness. That's the main source of it is self-centeredness. The problem is that self-centeredness is the default nature, and so we all have we got to look both ways when we cross the street and feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and pay the bills, and so all the constant thinking about ourselves creates this fear because our subconscious knows all of the wounds we've had and weaknesses we have. And so we're looking at the lens through a self-centered world that's dotted with failures. And so we have this fear that's inherent in that self-centeredness.
Mm-hmm. We're talking with Jim Murphy, the author of Inner Excellence. How much of what you're teaching, would you say, Jim, comes down to just trying to teach people to live in the now, not worried about what has happened, not worried about what will happen, but just trying to live in the now?
Yeah, Inner Excellence is an in-depth system to be able to do that. It's easy to say I'm going to focus on the process and leave the present. Very, very hard to do. It needs a whole lifestyle.
Jim, you talked about, AJ Brown. Has any other notable athletes reached out to you about this book?
Since this all happened, I've talked to a lot more people, celebrities, superstars than I ever have before January 12th. And so most of them are like to keep it confidential. But yeah, it's been a very different life that I've lived.
Wow. That's good. That's good. That's great, Jim. Like I'm happy, man. I got the copy here in my hand, and one of the things, I'm just perusing it right now.
He reads every commercial break. He's like,
right,
yeah.
He's
reading it during breaks.
But like it's speaking directly to me. Overcome anxiety, remove mental blocks, train your subconscious mind. To your point, this is for everyday use. Like this is for an everyday American, everyday person, not just high-level athletes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's about human behavior and how to maximize it.
All right, Jim. I want to just get back to baseball for one moment before we let you go. Since you've played at a very high level. To me, and I'm at a baseball game, I think the pressure to perform may be harder on a baseball player than any other sport. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know you're up to about 4 times a game. It's very, very difficult. They flash your batting average every time you come up. They show everybody, here's how this person is doing. If you make an error, that's an error on you. Is baseball, maybe because of the grind of it every day, is it perhaps mentally one of, if not the most difficult sports in your opinion?
Oh yeah. You can just compare it to basketball. In basketball, you make a mistake, someone steals the ball from Steph Curry. You can steal it right back.
Yeah.
Like it's a game of mistakes and you can fix it right away. But in baseball and golf and the longer you have between plays, the more the mind gets in the way or has the potential to get in the way, especially if you don't read Inner Excellence.
Especially if you don't read. Nice.
Thank
plug
you.
there.
We're thrilled to hear of your success with the book. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate your time. We hope to talk to you again soon.
Than's so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome.
All right,
That's Jim Murphy, author of Inner Excellence, and it sounds like you like the book.
Yeah. I'm I got to dig into
book.
it. It's massive. Yeah, I might have to take a couple weeks to read this one, but this is a self-help book. This is a life book. Exactly what I need right now.
He's being modest, but the story, as I understand it, if I remember correctly, is the book was doing whatever, okay, and then he looks at Amazon one day, and it's like
think about that,
just
right?
Shot through the roof, and it's like a bestseller overnight.
He said he didn't pay his credit card bills one day, and then all of a sudden, I'm a shout out to Jim, man. That's huge. And shout out to AJ Brown. Can AJ get some
shouts
love?
out, no, definitely shouts out to AJ.
Ripping him for reading during the game, and he doesn't care and all this. I see what you were doing, AJ.
It worked. Unfortunately, I want to say unfortunately because shouts out to Jim, but unfortunately the Eagles took care of business and won. And that it was, and this is the wild part, fellas. It played a part in this season. Like if you go back and talk about the playoffs for the Eagles, it is part of their storyline. Like so many people in Philadelphia were talking about this book, and obviously nationally, worldwide now. But it was a thing, like you said, Drapes. It was thumbed through. You could see that he had been reading for a long time, and people were jumping on him about reading it. And now look,
give Jim a ring, right, Jay? Give him a ring. When we come back, best thing about the Kings giving Doug Christie the head coaching job on Sacktown Sports.
Listen, Mom loves anything you give her for Mother's Day, but what she really wants is a call or a visit. Anything to feel close to you. And a digital picture frame from Aura will go a long way to making her feel closer to you. Help Mom miss you less by putting the power of technology to work. Aura Frames was named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter and featured in 495 gift guides this past year. I absolutely love it. There's no doubt in my mind my wife Janet is getting one of these things. She loves pictures so much. I know she is going to love this product. So the next time you need to call your mom, you can also send her a new pic of you from that trip that you were telling her all about right from your phone. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on this perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver mat frame. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code ROAM. Support the station by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, the A's call-up of last year's first-round pick and fourth selection overall in the draft, Nick Kurtz, is not surprising, but his rise through the A's minor league system is pretty astounding. Kurtz has played in only 32 minor league games, but the numbers are eye-popping. A .336 average, 11 home runs, and 37 RBIs. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
What would it take for a plumbing company to earn your trust? Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And let's face it, plumbing and service companies don't always have the best reputation.
So to earn your trust, the first thing they'd have to do is actually answer the phone when you call with a real live person. Then they'd have to send a plumber when you needed them, day or night, without charging extra for emergency services.
A trustworthy plumber would show up on time, wearing a clean uniform and name badge, and be able to show that they had passed a background check and drug test.
A plumber you could trust would give you a firm quote on the job before starting and clean up after they finish the job.
That's exactly the plumber you'll get when you call Bell Brothers, a plumber you can trust. Call Bell Brothers right now for all your plumbing needs. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Drive Guys, celebrating the news that Doug Christie is in line to be the next coach of the Kings. They're just finalizing things, and we're sifting through it. There are some fans that are not crazy about the news for various reasons. So we're discussing all that here. Meanwhile, you got the Bucks and the Pacers, Game 5 in Indianapolis. Milwaukee's leading 46-36, minute and a half or so left in the second quarter. I do not care for this floor, Jay. This is an alternate court that the Pacers are playing on. And for some reason, right against the stanchion under the basket, they have like a yellow splotch. It looks like someone spilled paint. And to me, it just looks like, somebody had too many nachos and they
Hit the floor.
They also have it near the scores table. And I mean, I don't want to bring up bad memories, but we've had that happen here.
Yeah.
And it just happened not that long ago at a Knicks game as well. And hopefully Tracy Morgan is okay, but I don't see why somebody thought that was a good idea. Let's make it look like somebody threw up under the basket.
A little paint splatter.
Yeah.
You're not feeling it.
Am I wrong? Is that our Drapes? Is that you look under the baskets here? And they've got this alternate court and they've got the paint splatters, just like what Tyrese has on the side of his
jersey. Yeah,
they have those under the baskets, and it looks like somebody spilled something or worse.
I gotta see it closer. I gotta get it.
You see it under there, and that's not a great angle, but you can see it under there.
Oh, like right at the base of the basket there. All right, I gotta see it.
Were you doing the game here when the guy got sick
and threw up?
Yeah.
Or, I like how you put it. Got sick.
He had an upset tummy.
Right. I'm sure. I was actually. I was.
See,
and I was with Katie.
See, they have it there by the bench over there. I don't care for that. And then under the look at that under the basket.
Yeah, I don't know why that little patch is there. Like the basket threw up or something like that,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Come on.
Paint spilled or something like that.
To quote Fosse, what are we doing here, guys? We have this on the text line from Folsom Mike. Why are we assuming Christie is not Perry's guy? He checks all the boxes Perry wanted character-wise, and Perry had a history of liking players in head roles like Billups and Dumars. Love that he's keeping him. That's from Folsom
Mike. Why are we assuming?
I don't know. Well, people are assuming that they couldn't have had a coaching search. They didn't have time to have one. Therefore, this is not Scott Perry's guy. But it's possible that Scott Perry came on board and said, let me look into this a little bit, and then decided, yeah, all right. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I think Vivek, and I don't know, but my guess would be Vivek said, this is really the guy we want to be the head coach. Scott Perry said, well, let me just give me some time to look at it. And then he did, and he heard some things from players and decided, all right, yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, let me talk to some people, talk to some players.
Yeah.
Get some feedback about Doug and everything like that, and said, you know what? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So he could be Vivek and Scott Perry's guy.
Yeah.
But I think, historically, the way the Kings have operated, it's, it comes with that baggage. Vivek is not getting the benefit of the doubt because of that, because of history, if you will. And so I get why fans would think that. But, our boy Brendan Nunez even chimed in on that on social media, got a firestorm.
And bless him for voicing his opinion. People, no matter what you say on this, people are going to come at you from one side or the other.
Yeah. And I want to get it accurate what Brendan said, because he was one of the first ones. Like, soon as this happened, he tweeted this out, and it wasn't like he waited some time or anything.
Right.
He says, I struggle to believe that Scott Perry, known for his league-wide connections, solely made the decision to keep Doug Christie around. If the new GM didn't get to pick his head coach, they're repeating the same mistakes yet again. This is where I push back on Brendan just a little bit. His two statements, could be independent of each other. Scott Perry, known for his league-wide connections, solely made the decision to keep. Well, he probably didn't solely make this decision. I mean,
I think that's one thing we'd say. There's no way he solely
made the decision. We understand that. If the new GM didn't get to pick his head coach, Well, maybe he did get to pick his head coach. We're repeating the same mistakes yet again. And so I see, I mean, he got 61 comments, a lot of them, pushing back.
You're negative. Why do you want to go there? Like I said, I appreciate that he stated that because it's what a lot of people are thinking and saying, and it's what he genuinely thinks about this.
Fellas, you know how to clear this up?
How?
Just kind of what we've been asking for the Kings organization to do.
Come out.
There you go.
I mean, the press conference got to happen, right? You got to have a press conference.
Got to come out.
And it's not just the Doug press conference either, right, guys?
And Scott Perry sitting next to
Doug
him.
and Scott.
And I'm going to keep it 1,000. It might need to have a Vec sitting up there.
That ain't
I know, but I'm just saying, though. I know it's not, but I'm saying, and this is something that I'm going to consistently talk about throughout the summer. If you want to change, you need to change. And that sounds crazy, but if you want to change the narrative, if you want to put your foot in the sand and say, hey, listen, we're not being repetitive and making the same mistakes, then change it. This is an easy change. This is an easy change, fellas. This is come out, talk about it, be open, hit the press, do a few things, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and watch how things change.
My fear would be that if the Kings were forthright about this, and I'm not saying they won't be, that people still would go, oh, great, because I don't think this was Scott Perry's hire. But that's okay. Like Jerry said, if they get it right, it's fine. I think, like I said, I think Vivek wanted it to be Doug. Scott Perry comes in. What's going on with the situation? Well, we want Doug to be the coach. Let me look at it. All right, I'm with him. That's your guy. He's my guy now, too. So he didn't make the decision on his own. But people, I fear fans are going to look at this and go, well, see, Vivek's still calling all the shots. Well, just because Vivek had a hand in this decision, and we know that he's had a hand in the decision because he's been grooming Doug for this role for literally years, that does not necessarily mean that Scott Perry cannot do what he wants to do. It's a great point. If he can't, wow, we're going to have problems. But this is not necessarily a symptom of that.
Right. Exactly. And, and like you just said, Doug may be Scott Perry's guy. Scott Perry may have come in, looked at everything and said, yeah, I actually like Doug too.
Yeah.
And Folsom Mike said it. And maybe, he was just saying this because it was Doug. He said, why are we assuming Christie is not Perry's guy? He checks all the boxes Perry wanted character-wise. So, and Perry talked about that during his press conference. Like, I think, and here's the thing, Kings fans. Most of us thought it would be Doug. So now that it's Doug, it's like, oh, see, Vivek got his hands on it. We went in thinking Doug was going to get the job. And when it happens, now it's meddling. Now it's, we kind of thought this was going to happen.
So is it a you damned if you do, you damned if you don't?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, but it's a valid concern. I just think it's an overreaction to look at this and go, well, same old Kings, they're doomed. Yeah. We'll see. I think in this case, however they arrived here, they got it right. It's something to keep an eye on, but right now I think you're overreacting and say, forget it. They're finished.
Right. And I want to go back to Jay's point. And I do think, and I said this with Monty, and I'll say it with Vivek. Jay said, one way to solve all this, come out and speak. I think that's one spot where the organization could do better is transparency, answering questions. Maybe not even sharing the mission or goal, but just being out there.
Well, I'm hoping Scott Perry is going to be good at that.
Yeah.
When at the time it calls for it. Because that wasn't Monty's thing.
I mean,
not compared to Scott Perry.
I worked in Boston. We know how difficult that sports media market is. But ownership would go on once every couple weeks, once a month or whatever. Danny Ainge would go on once a week. Brad Stevens once a week. We see it in Golden State also, down there in San Francisco. Steve Kerr's always
with the
on.
49ers.
Lakeup's on. Yeah, John Lynch is on all the time, And so that's the one area, to Jay's point, where when you don't talk, when you don't speak, when you don't address it, you allow speculation to run wild and for people to make up their own opinions and assumptions.
Some of that is no doubt a pain in the tabuzi for the owners and the coaches and players, but there is also for the organization some benefit in that. Just having somebody out there. Here's what's going on. Here's where we are.
Yep.
Even Jim Harbaugh used to do it.
Yeah.
He was, that was a tough interview.
Was he really?
Weird.
Really?
Yeah. I asked him one time, so Coach, do you think we overlook the importance of special teams? And he goes, I don't know, do you?
Ooh.
Like, what are we in the 5th grade?
Right, I don't know.
That's the way he would be.
That's
Sometimes,
funny.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But anyway, even he would do it. Yeah. Even he would come on.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Amadrock, can we blame CD for all this negativity? When the news broke, he was very pessimistic about the decision. Couldn't give DC the prop first.
I didn't hear it. I did see something on X that that Dave said, look, the GM has to hire his coach.
Well, he ain't steering the bus of everybody, right? So everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
Right.
Now he might have threw, a little kerosene on it, but
Are we talking about Dave here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he
ain't the Pied Piper though. People ain't just trickling behind him just because he said it. People still have their own opinion.
Right.
Yeah, Campy says, yes, we can blame Carmichael Dave. No, I'm glad that we have on this station that we do have the dissenting opinions presented as well. I'm not saying
each show is very distinctly different too, right? Every
I
show
think so.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. When we come back, sorry, Jay, apologize. Little past a due date here with this milk.
Never.
So to speak. But when we come back, Drapes, I'm so excited about this. This is kind of silly, but I found today a list of potential DeMar DeRozan trades.
Here we go.
Well, and I wouldn't even go there, but some of them I think you and I are going to like.
Okay.
All right. So we've got that. If DeMar were to be moved, the top 5 landing spots for him and what the Kings would get back. It's next year, Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports. Don't go away.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Granger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Granger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Before we get to potential DeMar DeRozan trade destinations and what the Kings could get, according to some guy, I know that you're excited about today's Sac State news.
Yeah, it's blowing up on social media. Mikey Williams, this is a prep phenom. Went to Memphis, UCF. He's committed to Sac State now. Yes. He's a top 50 recruit.
Sacramento.
Yep, top 50 recruit coming out of high school.
GM Shaquille O'Neal's getting it done.
Getting it done, man. Getting it done. And shout out to Mike Bibby also, man, the way they're turning things around. And according to Sean Cunningham, who reports of KCRA, Sean's Cunningham, he says Sac State got Mikey Williams for $200,000, $200,000.
It's a little check from the general, Shaq.
Right? Shaq.
I ain't nothing but a little check.
Yeah, here you go. He dropped that on the floor. I was like, oh, there you go. You know,
Papa John's.
I will say this. A lot of people, you know, might be like, who's Mikey Williams? Mikey Williams was at the Kings game. It was either the Phoenix game or the play-in game. I can't remember which one.
Was he being recruited?
I think it was Phoenix.
Yeah, it was Phoenix. Yeah, it was that last regular season game.
I think that's where I got to.
Yeah, it was that day game.
Yeah, that day game. And it was on a recruiting visit back then. And I didn't know who he was. And my son is like, Dad, guess who's sitting right in front of us?
Wow.
I'm like, who? He's like, Mikey Williams. I'm like, all right. And then he told me. And so he's got a pretty big, substantial following out there. Comes with a little bit of baggage, got arrested a couple of years ago. That seems to be all cleared up. But in terms of basketball skills, a top 50 recruit coming here to Sac State.
To what extent are these recruiting wars, if you will, just bidding wars? And I'm not begrudging anybody or criticizing it, but just, I mean, how much of it is like, I went here and they offered this much. How much are you going to offer?
Well, look at AJ DeBansa, number one recruit coming into this season. Reportedly $7 million from BYU, I think it was. Like, this is a kid. Like, why do you go to BYU to play basketball? So it is a bidding. You go to the highest bidder, especially for players.
BYU bid you up.
Yeah, especially for players. You're not going to be there more than one season. You're a one and done. Jerry even talked about it, Whitey. I mean, and you even mentioned it, I think it was earlier this show. It's like a 1-year deal, basically. Every year you're a free agent after the season with the transfer portal now. Look at Stojakovic, reportedly what, $3 million? Did we say? Did I hear?
Jerry said he heard. He said he wasn't sure it was true. He said I think he said 3.
Yeah, I think he said $3 million to go to Illinois. It's like, whoever got the money, hey, you know. So,
isn't that where Tony Ray Harvey went?
Yeah.
So you know he's probably a big financial backer there. He probably paid for that himself.
Jay, you're a big college guy. How do you feel about this? This is kind of turning me off to college a little bit, big fella. And maybe it's just me, but I'm not as big of a college guy. Do you have any kind of qualms, reservations, whatever, about the system the way it is right now?
No, just because it's been lopsided so much on the opposite side for so long, Drapes, that I'm like, it's going to balance out down the road. But I think right now it's just completely outweighed, you know, the last 100 years that we've seen in the system.
Yeah.
So
where's all this money gone in the past that the players should have been getting?
Yeah.
Who got it?
Right. And it's happened so fast, so quick, fellas, to where the point, you know, it's kind of like it's just going to, again, the system's going to even itself out. The pendulum will swing, you know, towards the middle a little more, teeter-totter or equal itself out. So at this point, of going through the NCAA, of going through the clearinghouse, doing all those type of things, knowing what it was to struggle. Hey, get your money, young fellas.
But is this the answer, Jay?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's absolutely not. But again, if we're looking at the system, the last 150 years wasn't the answer either.
I'm thinking that the reality we now deal with, it just makes it harder to pretend that things were the way we pretended they were before, but never really were. Guys were getting under the table and
absolutely.
For
sure.
We know that. What's going on? We just didn't know about it.
Yeah, for sure.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. How about David on Sacktown Sports? Hello, David. What's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. I just wanted to talk about Doug for a second.
Yeah.
My thing with Doug is, everybody's been talking about how he's got Sacramento's back and how he's, you know, and that's important. And, you know, and that means a lot to a lot of people. And I mean, I got Sacramento's back, but that doesn't mean I should be the coach of the team. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be negative, Doug, because I love the guy. I just have major concerns about the X's and O's during game time. There was a lot of times last year when he got out coached. There was a lot of mistakes made in rotations. At the end of the year, in that last game, he went to an 8-man rotation, which I know a lot of playoff teams do. But we don't even have the the luxury of using 8-man because we're not that good. So it's just some of his decision making and philosophy is what really scares me a lot about having him in here. Now, I know he was groomed, and I know that this is something that it was his dream. I hope it works out, but I am majorly concerned about his floor generalmanship, if you want to say that. I don't know what you guys think. Well, I know what you guys think about it. I mean, it's too late now, so it's going to happen. But I'm just hoping that he learns from some of the things he did last year. And I'm pretty sure that he's using Rick Adelman as his sounding board, probably behind the scenes, because, you know, Adelman was a great coach. But it's like, I don't know, man. I just have some concerns.
Gotcha,
One
David.
of the things that I like.
Yeah. David, we're going to let you go just because you're kind of going in and out a little bit. Not your fault. You're kind of a little, and then you're loud. So thank you. I think we got your point, and I appreciate your views. It's true. I mean, he really loves Sacramento. Well, that's not a reason to make him the head coach. I mean, it factors in. It's like, that's a cool thing. But you're right. That's not a reason to make him a head coach. I'm not sure that people that look at the last few games, Drapes, and say, boy, Doug at the X's and O's, I'm not sure that it was as bad as people are making that out to be.
Well, and I'll address David there on two fronts. One, I haven't heard anybody say because he rides for Sacramento, he should get the job. Like, I don't think that's maybe I'm missing that narrative out there, but, you know, because he cares for Sacramento, to your point, I don't think that's the reason why he got the job, and I don't hear people saying that.
That would be a terrible reason to give someone a job.
Right?
So we agree on that.
But two, when it comes to X's and O's, to me, that's why your assistants are so important. Under Mike Brown wasn't up there drawing up plays in the huddle or anything. Mike Brown wasn't doing that. That was Jay Triano. So, you know, the X's and O's, I think, is really a little bit overrated in today's NBA. First of all, mostly everybody runs the same stuff anyway. You know, it's a copycat league. Pretty much, you know, drive and kick, you know, screen roll, dribble handoffs. That's it, you know?
A lot of the really important X and O stuff is done before the game. Now, there are important things happening again,
like
no question.
In the game,
you got to make adjustments and be aware of what the other coaches are doing, but a lot of that is done even before the game.
Well, and that's why you look at a team like the Clippers when you got a Van Gundy on your staff. You look at Golden State, we mentioned, you know, Terry Stotts and Stacker, some of the other guys. That's where I think Doug, and no fault of his own, was sort of lacking. He didn't have his guys there. No offense to Jay Triano. Jay wasn't Doug's guy. And then you lose Luke Laux, who supposedly is your defensive coordinator also. And so you don't have that infrastructure, that support as a head coach that you need. So to David's point, I think the X's and O's can be solved by having strong assistant coaches alongside Doug.
Yeah. Like look at, and we talked also about Jay's guy, Coach Reddick.
Yeah.
You know, how much experience he had on the bench.
Right. I mean, Nate McMillan out there, Scott Brooks.
Yeah.
Like you got former head coaches and who played in the league too. Like, that's, you know, and no offense to our guys, we just didn't have that this past season.
Yeah, you're right. It's David, it's essential. You got to have that. You got to have that. All right, when we come back, we'll look at some potential DeMar DeRozan trades. These just were posted today, and it's
I have not seen
silly.
these.
I think Drapes is going to like at least one of them, and I love one of them. So we're back with that with the Drive Guys. Don't go away.
Whitey here with another great grilling tip. The Napoleon Stainless Steel Prestige 500 Connected Propane Grill with infrared side and rear burner featuring Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity brings you closer to your grilling experience than ever before. The Napoleon Connected lets you monitor temperatures, set timers, and receive high temp warnings. Boop, boop. All from your smartphone with temperature probes and LCD display. You'll always know exactly what's happening inside your grill. Napoleon's LED control knobs even illuminate for nighttime entertaining and feature safety glow. Napoleon Grills, simply the best.
Rock the Bells presents LL Cool J.
So what you got Chanel on your feet? Hot sex on a platter makes the mission complete.
Live in concert. LL Cool J. Saturday, May 10th, the venue at Thunder Valley with DJ Z-Trip. LL Cool J. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss LL Cool J live.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Sky River Casino, Hop Valley Brewing, and Naturewood Home Furnishings. Find out more at CITPFest.com. The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is back for another thrilling season at Monterey's iconic WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, May 9th through the 11th. Only in Monterey can you experience a high-octane mix of international drivers, cutting-edge prototypes, and GT sports cars racing wheel to wheel. There'll be gourmet food, wine, craft beers, family entertainment, and exclusive fan engagement with the drivers in the open race paddock. Buy your tickets now and experience world-class motorsports. Visit WeatherTechRaceway.com.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health, and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
What are the Kings going to do now that they got a head coach? It's not official yet, but we're very close. Got a head coach, got to get staff in there, and then you got to get to work on this roster. Saw something today at clutchpoints.com. I'm not saying this is rock solid.
That site, I've blocked that site, I think. But go ahead.
You blocked clutchpoints.com?
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones.
Some potential DeMar DeRozan deals. And I just glanced at it, and I thought, yeah, you know what? I just want to talk about this a little bit. It's written by Spencer C. And it says here, Spencer C. is a part-time writer at Clutch Points, focusing on the NBA.
Part-time writer.
Yeah, he's a fan.
Listen,
right.
Part-time writer, focusing on the NBA, evergreen content, and celebrity lifestyle.
This guy.
He is also a lifelong fan of LeBron. In his free time, he either goes fishing or watches basketball.
This is not in his bio, is it? This is in
this right at the bottom of
What?
the thing here. Spencer C.
Oh,
yes.
okay. So he's a fan. Okay. Right, Jay? You just
yeah,
said
why he
he's a
took that back. Yeah, that's a fan.
All right.
He focuses on the NBA and evergreen content. So that, yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. So he has top 5 destinations for DeMar DeRozan. Ranking 5 best DeMar DeRozan trade destinations if the Kings blow it up. I will just add this to Spencer C's headline here. I mean, the Kings could trade DeMar DeRozan without blowing it up. If they trade him, if he says, yeah.
Oh, I see this site you're talking about.
So let me just start. Here's 5. Number
Spencer
5.
C? That's
Spencer C.
Okay, all right.
Hopefully we can get him on.
This guy. Yeah, right.
Number 5, Toronto Raptors. Raptors receive DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, and 2 second-round draft picks. Kings receive R.J. Barrett and Jacoby Walter. See, now you love that, don't you?
It's not going to happen.
Toronto's not doing that. Next.
Spencer C.
Who is this
that
guy?
wasn't quite, but don't you love that? When you love that?
I love R.J. Barrett.
Yeah.
He's first team all drapes. Yes.
Now, this is probably his most ridiculous one, but wouldn't this be good for the Kings? Number 4, Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers receive DeMar DeRozan. Kings receive Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and a protected first-round pick.
What?
That'd be a great deal for the Kings, wouldn't it?
Gosh.
Wouldn't that be a great pick?
Rui
Connect, and a protected number 1.
Oh, my gosh. Who's this guy? Spencer C?
Spencer C.
Is he on X at all? Because I'm trying to find him.
I thought you meant is he
on X?
X, yeah.
He might be.
When he came up with that one, maybe. I don't know. Number 3, Miami Heat. Heat received DeMar DeRozan. Kings received Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, and a 2029 first-round pick.
Four thumbs down.
So the Kings, according to our guy, they're getting players and a number one
and a number
for DeMar
one.
DeRozan.
Okay.
Number 2. Jay, it's your Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, shoot.
Hornets receive DeMar DeRozan. Kings receive, this is terrible compared to the other packages. Kings get Josh Green, Josh Okogie, lottery protected 2030 first round pick, and 2 second-round picks.
Wow.
Compared to the others, that's an awful.
Yeah, that's
an
terrible.
awful package.
That's terrible.
And the one that caught my eye, number 1.
Oh, you like this one?
Indiana Pacers. Pacers received DeMar DeRozan and a 2025 first-round pick. And the Kings get Jarace Walker and Andrew Nembhard. My guy.
So we giving up a first for Nembhard and Jarace Walker.
Yeah.
Nah, man, what is...
They're silly, I know, but I just
How
thought
far did you have to go to find this?
I don't remember how exactly I ran across that. But
yeah, what did you like? Who do you follow on X to see that story? Like,
I was
man,
just looking
your
at trade
algorithms
stuff, and it
are
popped
off.
up. Yeah, big Spencer C guy.
Spencer C. Spencer
Big time?
C isn't an NBA GM? Question mark.
Not yet.
Some dude says he's an NBA 2K GM. That's what.
Well, those would be great
That's
deals.
what he is.
Maybe Scott Perry should hire him because those would be great deals for the Kings.
So what are the teams again?
He said Indiana, Toronto, Miami,
Okay.
the Lakers, and the other one.
The other one.
Charlotte.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna leave it up to Scott Perry. I'm gonna trust Scott Perry instead of Spencer C. This just came out this morning too, huh?
Yeah,
it's hot off
fresh.
the presses here.
I only bring you the freshest.
I'm on the site right now.
Freshest material.
This is
Daisy Fresh.
This is somebody sitting at home on the couch. Who else can
That was
be
my
traded?
9th grade basketball team, Daisy Fresh Cleaners.
Sponsored?
That was the
Yeah,
sponsor.
they were
Daisy
sponsored,
Fresh?
but we
That's
lost
dope.
to, Sean Rogers, the Kings, and we lost to his team for the championship.
No, I thought he said you beat him one game though.
We might have beat them
You
one
might have won
game,
yeah.
but they won the
Because
championship.
he told me about your. He said you were. How did he put it? He said you were Mr. Fundamental, basically.
Really?
Like, yeah, you had the Bob Cousy dribble. You know what I mean? Like, you were like, you ain't had no swag or anything like that, but you were like, fundamentally sound.
I'll
That a
take
boy,
that.
Pat
Yeah.
Riley.
Yeah.
Pat Riley out there.
He was very. We were actually teammates at one point.
Oh,
Anyway,
really?
so it's so
Okay,
cool
yeah.
every time I see him on TV. But yeah, his team, he was played for Bourbon House. So, Bourbon House beat
Ooh.
Daisy Fresh Cleaners.
Think
No
about the
surprise
name
there.
Bourbon House,
Right.
Daisy Fresh.
Exactly.
You guys lost. You lost before you even showed up,
we had
right?
no chance.
Yeah, NIL wasn't that good, obviously, compared to Bourbon House.
I think it was a best of 3, and I think we might have gotten swept.
Sean Rogers. He had game though?
He did.
Yeah,
In any sport.
Any sport. Yeah,
Whatever,
he's an
especially
athlete.
football.
He's an athlete.
But, yeah. So anyway,
All right.
what is DeMar DeRozan worth then?
I have no idea, to be honest with
The more I think about it, Drapes, I think that the Kings may, for the most part, try to keep it all together and just add the point guard, a little length. The more I think about it, the more I think they're going to try to run it back as much as they can. That they want to keep this core that they're thinking. Doug was 27, 23?
27 and
Or
24.
24?
Yeah, 24.
With all the ups and downs, there's talent here. I hope this isn't the case, but the more I think about it, the more I think they're going to try to build on this team that, played reasonably well right before the play.
I don't know about that, Whitey. I would say I don't think it would be for lack of trying, though. Maybe the deals just aren't out there that you want that'll actually help you out. I think listening to Scott before he got the job, talk about building the contender, Wade talked about Zach. Like, he's not going to take over this job just to run it back and make minor tweaks. I get the sense that he's a guy that's going to come in and look to make his mark. I'm not saying clean house or anything like that, but he's trying to build a winner here.
Yeah, but I think you also have to look at it this way. This is something that Slate said last week.
Ooh.
If you're Scott Perry, let's just say you want this job for a long time. You come in and things are kind of not set in stone, but like, this is the way we have things. You didn't bring any of it in. So you come in and you look at it like, all right, yeah, I'm good with him as the coach. All right, you have talent here. I'll tweak a little bit here or there, and let's say it doesn't work. None of that is on you. As Slate said, your clock doesn't start yet.
But guys don't think like that, Whitey.
Everybody
Nobody
thinks
thinks
that way.
like that. I'm coming in and I'm not going to try to improve now because I'm worried it might be
I'm not saying
pushed
he's not
back.
going to try. I'm saying if things are in place, like, all right, I'm not going to tear this up. If you love this so much, let's see how this goes. And then if it doesn't work, then he gets more and more involved. I would love to see him do something major in this offseason. Trade one of your big stars. I don't see him trading Domas. I don't see him trading Zach LaVine. And then so it's DeMar. Well, if DeMar doesn't want to be traded, I don't think they'll trade him either. And then how much can you do?
Well, and that's why I said I don't think it's for lack of want or try it. You may not be the moves that there to be made for Scott Perry. That's the thing. And, you don't want to make a trade just for the sake of making a trade.
Of course not.
Right. And so I don't know, man. Because with DeMar, and nobody knows, what DeMar's thing. Does DeMar want to be back?
Yeah.
This
I was
stage
assuming
of his
not,
career.
but maybe he does. I don't know. I'm assuming not.
Let me ask you this.
Because this team, I assume he probably wants to have a chance to win something.
Do you think it worked with DeMar?
Overall, it didn't. Whether it's his fault or not, he had put up good numbers.
But it didn't work with anybody, though. Domas,
absolutely.
Zach,
absolutely.
Valanciunas, it didn't work with any. So in that regard, but the question is, does DeMar feel like this is a place he wants to be for the next year or two or three?
Yeah, I would
That's
guess
a hard
not.
question. I would guess not. No inside info, no intel. He said it's been, the craziest season of his career. He's getting up there in age. It would make sense if he wanted to go somewhere. I would understand.
Yeah,
if you will, if DeMar wanted. I don't know, man. Or does he give it another shot under Scott, a full season under Doug? That's the question right now.
Or does he go to the Lakers for Rui, Dalton Connect, and a protected first round pick?
And we just give up DeMar and they get. Dang.
I kind of like that.
I know, of course you like that if you're Sacramento.
Give it to me one more time.
Lakers receive DeMar DeRozan. Kings receive Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and
a first
protected first round.
Come on. Yeah, sign me up for that. That's a lot.
Jay's like
Spencer C.
Spencer C. starting things out here.
The magic of Spencer
You're not taking that?
Of course,
okay.
everybody
Just
would.
checking,
the
checking.
Lakers, I mean, come on now. The Lakers ain't doing that.
No way.
That's two rotation play. Like, I still think they believe in Dalton Connect, just not right. He's a young rookie. You know, he's a rookie right now. But Rui's one of the 5 guys they actually play on their roster. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
By the way, do we know who the rookie of the year is yet?
Yes,
Stephon
Castle.
Castle. Oh,
overwhelmingly,
you know
too.
what Kings fans are going to say to that?
We should have had
Should
him.
have got him. Why didn't money get him? Because he was not available.
Yeah, exactly. San Antonio was not parting with Stephon Castle.
Couldn't get killed in Johnson, though.
Right. I'm with you on that. Devin Vassell?
Jay Sohan?
Right. Give me something else.
You couldn't because you wanted Zach LaVine in that deal. That might have precluded you from getting other players from the Spurs because you wanted Zach LaVine.
Nah, come on, Whitey. Don't do that. Don't.
What? I'm wrong.
And I will say, Zach LaVine is the better player out of all of them.
Okay.
So if we would have got Keldon Johnson and no Zach LaVine, will we be in any better shape? I don't think so. We'd still be looking at, damn, all we got is Keldon Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did get Zach LaVine out of it. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Ideally, I would want Zach and Keldon Johnson or Devin Vassell or something like that.
Why you say Keldon Johnson like
because you guys I don't know. Keldon Johnson.
Yeah. When we come back, the conversation continues on the Kings, where they go from here. Also, I've got the most incredible baseball number you have ever heard in your whole life.
Okay.
I had to read it like 7 times to make sure it's accurate. Back with that. Don't go away. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Fidium Fiber.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA3 Weather Center. A warm day Wednesday with strong sunshine. Temperatures will start in the mid-50s and rise quickly. We'll end up in the upper 80s with light winds in the afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
It's about time they
Fix that pothole.
Invented better windshield wipers.
made an internet that just works. Fidium Fiber Internet, starting at only $30 a month. It feels like Fidium. Offer available to residential customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See Fidium.com for details.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Sacramento River Cats baseball is here, and the Cats Pass is your all-access pass to the full 2025 season. Enjoy access to every single home game at Sutter Health Park at unbeatable value. Cats Pass holders receive access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club on select dates, along with upgrades and guest options. Join us for unbeatable value with the Sacramento River Cats all season long. Get your Cats Pass today at rivercats.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Interesting point here in the text line. Christie becomes the first NBA coach to be a pizza guy, Folsom Lake Ford pitch man in NBA history.
Right.
But he wasn't officially a pizza guy, was he? He did the commercials.
Yeah, I don't know if he was a pizza guy.
He wasn't technically a pizza
I would
guy.
have to imagine his rate has gone up, though.
I hope so.
Right?
Yeah.
You got an agent.
Folsom Lake Ford's got to be going, we got the head coach of the team.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. From the 530, if this current Kings team wants to be a contender, they need a number one. Go after Giannis or Zion, and there you go. You're not going to get Giannis.
You're not getting Giannis. Like, the reports are that Brooklyn has been gearing up
for years
to go after Giannis. So it doesn't make sense. Let me ask you this, too. If you're OKC, can you offer, because you got a lot of young players, would you offer Chet and 2 firsts for Giannis?
Depends on what you do this year, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure I would.
But if I'm Milwaukee, that's the deal I'm taking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I just feel like there's going to be so many suitors with a better, asset pile than we have.
Yeah.
So we just,
Plus, like we said, it's not like Giannis would go, Sacramento?
Oh, sign me up. Yeah.
The tricky thing, me and Jay were talking about this yesterday. In my opinion, if you're Milwaukee,
Giannis just got hammered going to the basket. Miles Turner, and he's talking too.
Miles Turner's going to be a free agent, huh?
Yeah. I wish we could sign him.
If you have Giannis and you decide this isn't it, you have to talk to Giannis and try to get him to stay, because Giannis is one of those very few all-time greats. You're not going to get another Giannis. You know, you could. Oh, he tried to hold him.
He did try to hold him.
Yeah, as a Turner fouled Giannis going to the basket from behind.
Watch this.
And he went for the ball, and then he tried to wrap him up.
No, but I know what point you're making.
You're not going to get another Giannis.
Right.
Oh, we'll get a bunch of draft picks. You're not, unless Giannis says, I want out of here, then I'm doing everything I can to try to keep him and build around him.
Right. Exactly. You keep trying to get it right around him because you're a small market too.
Yes.
You're no free agents. You know, if you're LA, you get guys. It seems like you always fall into guys. Milwaukee, when the last time they had a guy like this?
Right.
Kareem, we got to go back a ways, like a generational player like this. And so I'm with you. And I think that's why they did the Drew Holiday trade and brought in Dame Lillard. It's like, we might not want to do this, but we got to keep this guy happy. We got to do whatever we can to surround this guy with who he wants and to try and build a contender. And the thing about it with Dame's injury too now, it's not like you can move off Dame though. Like, what assets do you have if you're Milwaukee?
Yeah. Oh, we'll take Bobby Portis.
Take Bobby Portis off your hands.
Have you seen their situation?
No.
They got a poor situation.
They don't have any draft picks, huh?
No picks, yeah.
Yep.
They're hamstrung.
They're all in on now, and they're now may end in a first-round defeat here.
Yeah.
Although they're up here, and they're down 3-1, so we'll see.
Miles Turner and Sabonis didn't work together, says the 530. It would be another situation like DeMar and Levine.
It's not that hard to find people who will tell you, no, it actually did work.
Yeah, we've talked about that 30 times on this show. I'm not going to go down. But there's still that narrative out there.
It didn't work in that they couldn't get out of the first round, but it did work in that they got to the first round.
Right. They were in the playoffs routinely, 48 wins, 46, and they just didn't have the Tyrese Halliburton to bring it all together.
From the 916, what do you think about Tyler Hero? The way Miami went out last night, they might be willing to make some moves. Hero, Levine, Sabonis, Murray, Keon, and Monk.
You're a Tyler Hero guy?
He's pretty good.
He's actually he's worked on his game. He's improved.
Hero.
Yeah. I'm a Hero guy also.
I like shooting. If you can shoot.
Right. He's not the guy, but he can be one of the guys.
I'm just trying to figure out how would you, I guess you'd trade DeMar? That was one of the teams that supposedly had interest in DeMar before he came here, right?
Supposedly it was Miami and
Sacramento was the
last two.
All right.
But it doesn't make sense for Miami.
Yeah, why give up Hero if you're trying to?
I would have to attach some assets.
Unless they're tanking and hitting a reset button.
Right. And then if you're DeMar, why are you going there? Like, if I'm DeMar, I'm going there. I want Hero, Bam. I need to make sure they're all still there.
Yeah, I know. I told this story before, but my understanding is that's how the Lakers kept Kobe when he was demanding a trade.
Yeah.
He wanted to go to the Bulls. Mitch Kupchak says, okay, we're going to send you to the Bulls, and we're getting, I think it was actually Luol Deng. And Kobe's like, well, I'm not going there. If you trade Luol Deng, they're not going to be any good. It's like, okay.
You know who might be available, Whitey?
Who's that?
Andrew Wiggins. Okay. Wiggins.
I was watching him last night, and I just felt sad.
Yeah. Good thing he got his chip with Golden State.
Yeah.
It's like he went there to just die. Career just fades into oblivion.
And in 2022, for that brief playoff period,
he was the man.
That's him.
He was
Duncan over Luka.
Yeah. Tatum stopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Nah, not okay.
Wish him the best. No thanks.
A couple years ago, I was on the, a year now, I was on the Wiggins bandwagon.
What about, speaking of Warriors or former Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga, who does not play. Unless, Jimmy was hurt, he played.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't play.
I'd take a flyer with Kuminga. I'm not giving up major assets or anything like that. Restricted free agent.
Ownership there says, we still love him.
So we can't even afford him. restricted free agent. Like he's going. How much is he going to get? You think has his value went down?
It has to go down some when your team doesn't play you.
Yeah. I'm not interested in Kuminga. That's you
used to be a Kuminga guy. I think
I am. I still am. But not for us at this moment. I'm big game hunting right now, Whitey.
Okay.
I'm not looking at, no offense to your boy Nimhard, who would be a solid trade. I want Zion. I want Ja. That's the guys I'm focusing on right now.
Is that it?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I was just trying to think if there's someone else out there. I'm not trying
in terms of big game.
Who else would he be? And I know people say, Giannis.
Embiid? No. Any interest in Embiid?
Nope.
Okay. Former MVP.
Yeah. Just his knee is shot.
Yeah,
That's
he
terrible
looks
idea.
bad. Yeah. He looks bad.
Unless, I want to put together an all-star team.
All-star team.
Yes,
right?
then. Did you hear that the NBA's going to change up the all-star game?
I heard that. It's about time.
International. Well, and they're acknowledging that last year was a miss.
Yes.
Whatever that was last year, it was a miss.
And it's Winter Olympics, too, and coinciding with the Winter Olympics.
And it's on
international
NBC.
Competition, NBC. Yeah.
Pardon me, this is neither here nor there. I mentioned out of a baseball number. This is an incredible number. And it speaks to maybe what baseball's biggest problem is, or perhaps baseball's best way to address that problem. You got right now, of course, the A's are playing Texas, and the A's are playing well. They're over 500. Giants playing San Diego. Giants playing great baseball. You've also got a series going on right now, the Dodgers against the Marlins. Interesting contrast. When Billy Beane in Moneyball, he was talking about the spending gap between the Yankees and the A's in 2002. He said, it's insurmountable. The difference between the two teams was $85 million.
What was the number?
I don't know. But the difference was $85 million. Okay. That was 2002.
Let me take a guess what it is now. Is that where you're getting to?
But it's the gap. It's two different teams. The gap now between the Dodgers and the Marlins, the big gap in 2002 was like $85 million. What is the payroll difference?
I'd say $200 million.
Little light.
Really? We're not talking taxes.
Double it and you're a little light.
Shut up.
$407.6 million, which is believed to be the largest in modern history. That's the payroll difference between the Dodgers and the Marlins.
The Marlins at what, 69 million?
Something
I thought
like
I saw that 69 million.
Yeah, that's from The Athletic. When the Dodgers host the Marlins, the payroll difference will be an estimated $407.6 million.
What the hell? Baseball is broken, bro. How can that be?
Is that a sign that baseball is broken, or is that the only way baseball can get any attention is by having teams like the Dodgers with all the stars that come World Series time, people might pay attention.
So people don't care about parity in baseball and
I don't
small
know.
market teams,
but they continue to win.
I mean, that's just
like the Yankees ain't won nothing anytime.
But the Dodgers did, though.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying they've won twice, but they haven't won consistently, like every single year.
D-backs middle of the pack.
Absolutely. They just lost in the World Series.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay just lost in the World Series a handful of years ago. There's some teams that are making it. The Padres have started to spend money. We know the Angels has spent tons of money. Artie Moreno, they haven't won nothing.
Right. It's just hard in baseball with all the different rounds now, the layers of playoffs. It's like you got to be really lucky.
You do.
The best teams, okay, but good luck.
He'll for sure get lucky.
Yeah.
And one thing about baseball, I think more than anything, and football's probably closer, you can get 1, 2, 3 guys get super hot, especially on the mound. It's tough.
Right.
It's tough to win.
You know how it is in a short series. There's like one guy, and it's like you're gauging everything on, well, if he pitches again, we're going to lose. So we can't let it get to just that one guy, whoever it is, in any given series.
Rangers just won. I mean, there's parity in baseball for sure.
But there's not payroll parity, and it's not for every team. There's teams like the Pirates and Marlins.
And how about spend some money? Stop being cheap.
I know, but they can't spend $407.6 million.
But you can't spend 69 either.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
There's,
right.
I mean, be in a ballpark of 100, 120, 130. No one's saying you need to go. The Dodgers are criminally bad, criminally crazy for spending $500 million.
Yeah.
But there's other teams like the A's where the A's a couple of years ago, fellas, got $60-some million in league sharing. Revenue sharing, and they spent $60 million. What are we doing? So basically, you ran this for free. $20 million you paid your employees and stuff. And I know that sounds crazy, but we're talking about people who are billionaires.
We'll tell you why some fans were unhappy the Kings gave the job to Doug Christie and why they shouldn't be. We're right back with that, so don't go away. Drive, guys.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Ralph Barbosa. I just don't like going to church, man. I don't like the people there. If those are the people that are going to be hanging out in heaven, I just go to hell.
Renee Vaca.
I'm Mexican, though, man. Stereotypical Mexican. When Donald Trump called us drug dealers, though, all right, he got his ass.
The Butterfly Effect Tour, Friday, May 23rd. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Ralph Barbosa and Renee Vaca.
Whitey here with another great grilling tip. The Napoleon Stainless Steel Prestige 500 Connected Propane Grill with infrared side and rear burner featuring Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity brings you closer to your grilling experience than ever before. The Napoleon Connected lets you monitor temperatures, set timers, and receive high temp warnings. Boop, boop. All from your smartphone with temperature probes and LCD display. You'll always know exactly what's happening inside your grill. Napoleon's LED control knobs even illuminate for nighttime entertaining and feature safety glow. Napoleon Grills, simply the best.
Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping, action-packed day at Monster Truck Madness. Witness the insane power of Rockstar, California Kid, Identity Theft, Spitfire, Reverse, Titan, and more. Plus, right along the massive Monster Truck. It's all happening Saturday, May 10th at the San Joaquin County Fairgrounds with 2 back-to-back shows at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the wildest event of the year. Tickets are selling fast, so head to StocktonDirtTrack.com for tickets and more info. It's Monster Truck Madness. Non-stop, high-octane thrills that you can't miss.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at PowerCopiers.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Hammer time thrown down by the league. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Yeah, you're home of Kings basketball for 25 years. You know what, Jay? I noticed this today. I was on the Kings Herald, which is a wonderful site. Jerry does some stuff for them. And I realized looking at some posts there, I'm not sure the exact date, but we, I believe, are very close to the 40th anniversary of the day the Kings came here. Have to look that up. That might be worth observing in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I believe we're zeroing in on the 40-year anniversary of the day the Kings actually came to Sacramento.
What does came mean?
Well, like when they arrived, like here they are.
Got you.
I mean, there's a number of ways to measure that, obviously, when it's announced. But I'll have to look into that. Because that's probably something we should at least be aware of, as we talked about 40 years of Kings history, and can't imagine what that was like. That was before your time, right? I wasn't here yet.
I was 3 years old or whatever it was. Well, no, 85. I was 1. I'm sorry, 1 years old. My apologies.
Kyle Draper just came back with a pie.
Yeah, what Draper got a turkey? What is that, man? Rotisserie. Rotisserie chicken, Kirkland style. What is that, brother?
I got some homemade bread, man. Can't keep your hands off here, big fella.
Let's share that now, brother.
I ain't sharing this, man. I just went downstairs and talked to the salespeople. They're like, "You want some bread?" I'm like, "Sure." So this is homemade. JC Swan's wife, one of our sales people, she made it, brought it in to Bill Louie. Bill's like, "Drapes, I'm gonna give this to you."
Oh, look at that.
Dude, I don't need a whole loaf of bread, but
thank you.
That's what kind of people we work with, man. They'll give you their own bread.
They know who the type of person you are.
No, I'm at this for dinner tonight.
That's good.
I would give you some, Whitey, but you don't need it in studio.
That's okay. I'm fine.
Right,
I'm
you
fine.
good? All right.
But Jay, I believe there's still some of that ice cream downstairs.
Are you serious?
I think there is. I haven't checked them out. Because you brought it to me.
Leatherby's ice cream?
And I took it home. Then I brought it back. Last I checked, it was still in there.
Jay, I'm about to call the station. Hold on, Jay. I'm about to call.
Come on, man. Are you serious? You gotta check and see if we have some ice cream from
It's
that
been in there a
store.
long
Yeah,
time,
we
and
definitely don't see that.
I didn't put any plastic or anything over it, so if it's probably all icy if it is there. But
Hold up, Jay. Let me
send you a link to StreamYard.
You want to do a StreamYard?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send the link. Send to StreamYard. That's a little better, so the people on the YouTube can check it out. You want to do that?
So you're gonna go down there?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down there.
Okay,
and
all right.
investigate.
Yeah.
When was the ice cream caper, if you will, the fiasco?
I don't remember.
It was a
That's
while
a good
ago,
question.
though,
I don't know.
It's been a while.
I want to say October. I don't know.
6 months? About 6 months ago. So I'm trying to see how long. Hold on. Let me see if I got my guy from Leatherby's number.
I could look in the emails and see when you sent that. Hey, everybody.
Yeah. All right. So no, hold up here.
Probably not October, much more recently than that.
So Ramsey texted me about Leatherby's. Oh, this was March 11th. I can confirm the Leatherby's ice cream is still there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have a bag of frozen vegetables on the same shelf, according to Ramsey.
So that California blend,
right? Y'all crazy, man. So prior to March 11th, obviously. So,
Yeah.
all right.
It's got to be like January-ish.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that
say
sounds right.
January-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As soon as Jay sends that link, I'm
I sent it to you.
You sent it down
Yeah,
there?
I sent it to you.
Can we get to TC first? 339
Oh, TC, yeah. And then I'm gonna head down.
1140 sound for check it with TC. What's up, TC? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm straight, man. Mic check. What's up with my dudes, man? Y'all
What's
good?
up, TC? Yep.
How you feeling about the news today?
Hey, listen, perfect. This news, it was like music to my ears, right? I called in. Hey, Scott, this is what Scott did, right? Scott said, you know what? Everybody want to talk about Vivek running me. Ain't nobody running me. I'm going to do my coaching search. I want Doug, right? But I'm not going to come out and tell y'all in the beginning because that's going to send a narrative to the PR move talking about Vivek is running things. No, me and Vivek got a good relationship, man. We both like Doug, and we're gonna move forward with Doug. What Scott did, Scott was talking to the players. in the organization saying, hey, buddies, are you guys in with me and Doug? If you're not, I'm going to find a spot for you, and I'm going to move on from you, period. That's what that was. That week was finding out who's in and who's out. As far as the players, if we're going to keep Domas, right, this is who you go after. Scott, go get Nas Reed, who want to opt out, or my boy Crazy Eyes. Me and my wife talk about Crazy Eyes. Bobby Portis.
Yes.
I know you like that. Bobby Portis or Nas Reed at the stretch forward. If we getting rid of Domas, I think that's when you want to go get a Bam out of bio, right? See what Miami want to talk about. Hey, man, we got somebody for you, man, for Bam. That's all I got today, bros, because I'm super happy about Doug, and I'm ready to get this. Hey, I'm ready to get the train moving, y'all, but that's what I got.
All right, TC.
All right, TC.
As we mentioned, who drafted Bobby Portis in the first place?
Scott Perry. Yes.
We have a connection. The Perry connection.
Go out there and get him, Scott. And he has a year left on his deal, right? Bobby Portis?
I think he has. I think so. I was looking at it earlier today. And then he has a player option.
Yeah,
so.
no chance for Nas Reed though, right? I think he can opt out and hit the free agent market, right?
And you don't think you could?
We don't have enough cheddar.
By the way,
scratch.
speaking of Bobby Portis, 9:14 to go. It's what 84-83.
Yeah,
they just took the score off the screen there. I apologize. So a close game there. So the Bucks could still, it's 83-82. Pardon me. Indiana leading Milwaukee 83-82. 9:14 left in regulation.
Yeah,
Bucks
Nas Reed
to extend that series.
Player option for $15 million. He's going to opt out.
Yeah,
Minnesota's going to re-sign him too.
Well, they have some financial issues. Is that one of the reasons they got rid of Cat?
Because but Randall is a free agent, I believe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the guy.
No one's mentioned him.
No, he's actually pretty good. Like he's not the 3-and-D guy and everything stretched the floor, but he's a really good player. Could he play alongside Domas? Yeah.
I tend to think there wouldn't be enough touches for him again. I know I say that about everybody, but you got 3. And then with Monk too, you got a lot of guys that need touches.
Need the ball. Yeah.
That's just the way it is. They're not selfish. They just, if you're going to have them on the team, you need to get them the ball.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. I don't know if it fits. If we're big game hunting from the 916, DeRozan and what else for Devin Booker? Devin Booker it would take probably 2 or 3 of our starters and like 4 or 5 like Devin Booker's
Tower Bridge.
Yeah, Tower Bridge. Yep. So it ain't happening.
One bulb from the beam.
One bulb from the beam.
That'd be great. He's tremendous. It's just it sounds like there's no way it's going to happen. It sounds like Phoenix wouldn't even consider it.
Nah, he's the guy they're building around. Like he's the guy. Like,
but it's good to think big,
right? I like where the 916 is thinking though. Big game hunting. I like that.
Mm-hmm. We're big game hunting for callers right now.
Ooh,
it's time for Tin on Sacktown Sports. Hello, Tin. How are you? Welcome to the world of Tin.
Yeah, what's up, my guys?
Hey,
what's up, Tin?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good on this squad. And Scott Perry, I like that he has background. You know, we brought in somebody with expertise.
Yeah.
There was no way that we could have brought in somebody with 0, right?
Right.
This was a good hire.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I like the hire. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know too much, but yeah, I hope he does well.
Gotcha.
All right.
Thank you, Tin. The world of Tin with well wishes for Scott Perry. He's got a wealth of experience.
Yeah, he does, man. And I'm just waiting for this break so I can go check this ice cream. Ramsey on the text line says, "This is Ramsey. The vanilla leather bees is still in the freezer downstairs." And I'll tell you what, Whitey, if it has not been open, I'm taking it home.
Yeah, okay, it's been open.
Oh, it has been open. Oh,
that
I'm gonna throw it away. I'm gonna throw it away.
Had it before I took it, I think.
So you took half-eaten ice cream home.
People scooped it. They weren't eating it like dogs.
But you can't take half-eaten ice cream.
Then leave it, and I'll take it home. You don't need to. throw it away.
We're gonna throw it away.
Why?
Why'd you bring it back?
Because you had a seizure over me and Jay daring to take ice cream home.
I didn't know it was half eaten already. Like, all right. I'm about to go down there and check it out. Jay sent the StreamYard link.
Yeah, and we're back with a look at some other coaches that are available. So for people that are concerned that the Kings didn't hire somebody else, who else is actually available? We'll look at that next year with the Draft Guys.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Granger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Granger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Spring into deals and save on seasonal projects at Lowe's. Right now, get 5 select 1-pint annuals for just $10. Plus, get a free 60-volt Toro battery when you purchase a select 60-volt Toro electric mower. Don't miss out on these fresh spring deals. Shop in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/30 while supplies last. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Hawaii.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
That's five. I don't smoke that.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Right, Kyle Draper, I don't know why. He's going downstairs to see if there's still ice cream in the freezer. Pretty sure there is. That's why I mentioned it. And we just got confirmation from Ramsey. I don't know, Jay, what his fascination is with this ice cream. It's fine. I don't understand it. Drapes.
Dude, I'll tell you what the fascination of the ice cream is.
Yeah.
My guys at Leatherby's hooked it up. They took care of me. And
Mike?
so, yeah, my guy Mike took care of me. And so I want to make sure there's something down here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Val. Hey.
Yeah.
So
and as B Dietz 916 points out, getting an intimate look behind the scenes here at the
exactly,
facility.
big fella.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
So
right,
he's
hold
down
on
the
here.
stairs now on the lower floor. Should be turning the corner there, and the break room should be coming up.
It's here. Can
Yeah.
you guys see that?
I see a couple of gallons down there, champ.
But what's the first one? You see what brand that is? Kirkland signature.
Yeah, that's what they have for parties. Yeah,
and
they
then
get
the
that for-
Leatherby's. Dude, it's been like 6 months. And Ramsey's vegetables aren't here anymore, though. I can say that.
Somebody clip the Brussels sprouts.
his okra is not here anymore. His frozen okra is not here anymore. So, Whitey, I give you my blessing, big fella. You can take the ice cream home with you tonight. You and Shinya enjoy dessert on me tonight, big fella.
Wow, you didn't check to see if it's full.
Yeah, you did.
No, it's not full. It's about 35% left.
Well, throw that away. Why are we still sitting on that?
No, because Whitey said he's going to take it home.
I'll take it.
That thing is freezer burnt. Gotta be.
Dude, you just let it sit out for a little bit, man. It'll be all right. Let it melt down.
Somebody suggested with your bread that you make an ice cream sandwich. How about that?
Ooh, I could. Dude, I'm having bread and butter for dinner tonight, man. And I already got my own ice cream at home.
Mm-hmm.
You got Leatherby's?
No comment. No comment. Jay tried to get me in trouble.
You got
I'm back. I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up. All right.
Yeah, back in studio. Is this the end of the long saga of the Leatherby's ice cream?
I think so. That was just riveting radio, I might add, too. Dude, why is that still there? First of all,
because I took it back.
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm
just telling you that's why it's there.
But to Jay's point, what's the shelf life for an ice cream? After a month or two, somebody should have said, you know what? Don't we have like a Friday cleaning of the freezer?
I don't know. Probably someone heard about all this and saw Leatherby's like, I'm not touching that.
You know what I should have did? I should have wrote drapes on it in capital letters, drapes. Shout out to Leatherby's, Michael, man.
Why don't you don't want it?
I got ice cream at home.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to ice cream. For me, after about a week, it's done.
It's out of there.
Yeah, it's out of there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's like a week shelf life for me.
Okay.
So, all right, what else?
Wow, that's it. It ends like that.
I know, it's over, right?
You ate yours, right, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing is out of there.
I don't believe
They say within a
took it
couple
home
weeks.
also. That's terrible.
Out of there.
All right. You know
All
that
right.
there are some fans that are upset because they feel that the Kings should have taken a longer look at other coaches. So I just want to look at who else is out there. In all fairness, who else is out there that you, as a Kings fan, might have been interested in or you think the Kings should have talked to? This is from Basket News. I think Jay and I actually looked at this very list last week.
All right.
So number one is Michael Malone. Not going to happen, right?
Mhm.
No matter what you think of him, not going to happen. Number two, Taylor Jenkins. I don't know if he has any interest in coming here. 39 years old. An interesting candidate. Doesn't break my heart that the Kings, I don't know if they talked to him or not. I mean, it's not like, whoa, Taylor Jenkins, you got to do whatever you can to talk to him. But I could see how people would want you to talk to him. I'm fine with it. How about you, Drapes?
No, I'd be cool with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I understand. Accomplished coach.
Yeah. Number three, Mike Brown. Not going to happen.
Nah.
Number four, James Borrego. Nothing against James Borrego, currently associate head coach of the Pelicans. He already had a stint as head coach of the Hornets. I would prefer Doug Christie to James Borrego. I've got some, integrity there, some equity, I should say.
Right.
Frank Vogel, not really interested. Probably going to
Solid
be expensive.
coach.
Yeah.
Solid coach.
Yeah. I don't know that good defensive coach, right? But I don't see any
Champion.
compelling-
Won a title. 48
Six.
wins, 49 wins with Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
480 and 422 lifetime.
Mhm.
Sam Cassell. Love Sam Cassell, but he's never been a head coach. I got a guy who's barely been a head coach, but he has been a head coach a little bit with my team.
Right. Yep.
Advantage Doug Christie. Same goes for number 7, Royal Ivy.
Yeah, I like Royal Ivy.
I do too.
Yeah.
Hook up.
Yeah.
Micah Nori, former Kings
assistant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Coached in the playoffs for Minnesota when
Mhm.
Chris Finch got injured.
Chris Quinn, who's a Spo's assistant. Steve Nash,
who's now on Amazon's
yeah?
broadcast. Yeah, he was named to Amazon's broadcast.
And Mike Budenholzer.
Zero interest in Mike Budenholzer.
Yeah. So of those 11, I mean, you could make a case, you should have talked to Taylor Jenkins. I'm fine that they didn't. My point here is that I don't think the Kings ignored any just pressing opportunities here. I don't think there's anybody on the list like, how do you not talk to so-and-so?
Jeff Van
That's my
Gundy,
opinion.
Clippers?
Not available yet. Could become available. Local guy, too. I mean, Martinez.
Yeah, that's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I mean, there's nobody like, and I wonder where the future of coaching is going, because it seems like, and maybe I'm wrong, and if the trend is younger, new generation head coach, like the Van Gundys of the world, like Mark Jackson, it seems like the game, the opportunity, not the game, the opportunities have passed them by. Seems like teams are hiring younger guys now, 30s, that kind of age. You look at Boston, Missoula, Jamal Mosley, Willie Green, like it's younger players.
Yeah.
And Doug fits in, even though he's older, but he fits in that mold in terms of a former player getting his first real opportunity as a head coach.
I got to be honest. I went through that list and I'd forgotten about Coach Van Gundy.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been worth talking to, but I just don't think the Kings were going to. I don't know if he'd had any interest in coming here, But yeah, Martinez guy grew up in the area.
There you go, local guy. He'd be a good choice, though. Like
he would.
I think somebody should give him an opportunity. But is he more of a? You got to have an established team, maybe like ours, instead of a young team. Like he's not a rebuilding kind of coach.
I wouldn't think so,
right?
And I don't know. Maybe he is, like you say, compared to many of the current head coaches, he's on the older side. Like myself. So no slight there, but maybe he's like, yeah, I'm good what I'm doing.
Did Phoenix hire anybody to replace Budenholzer yet?
No.
See, maybe something like that, a veteran team, an older team, a team that thinks they're close, they just need the right voice in there.
Well, I'm sure you've heard that it's kind of quieted down, but there was some chatter that Mike Brown was in line to take over in Phoenix.
Yeah. How many openings there are out there, though? Phoenix, San Antonio, probably, Pop situation. He had a setback, last week or 2 weeks ago.
See, I would think Taylor Jenkins or Mike Brown would go to San Antonio because they were from there.
Right. Yeah.
If is not possible.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I think for us, Doug is a good fit right now. And you brought it up, considering roster, where we are, ties to Sacramento in terms of the equity that he's already built up with the players, that kind of thing. I think Doug is the right choice for us at this time.
If it's true that you have multiple players strongly endorsing him, and you told us this last week, what is it? Supposedly, I think Laravia and
Zach,
and the story that came out today, Brett Siegel, was multiple players. That goes a long ways. Because I've got so many moving parts right now. And if a number of the players he did a really good job.
Yeah.
It's hard to say no to that.
What's so interesting about this too, Whitey, is if Mike Brown would have lasted through the season and got fired, Doug might not have a good chance at getting the job, especially if Scott Perry comes in. But he's proven the 51 games he can do the job, finished above 500. And so now he has some experience, something on his resume to say, you know what, I can do this. If Mike would have lasted the whole season, maybe a Taylor Jenkins is getting this job.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of
something
that.
like that.
I see what you mean. Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 is the number if you want to participate.
Yeah.
Akash joining us on Sacktown Sports. Hey, Akash, what's up?
Hey, fellas, thank you for taking my call. Just had 2 points. One, I really love Doug Christie as a player when he played. I love the passion. As a broadcaster, he had a charming personality. As a coach, I think he's going to be a tremendous leader. But I cannot stress enough, he needs an offensive and a defensive coordinator. And I look over there in Golden State, Steve Kerr surrounds himself with Terry Stotts, Jerry Stackhouse back in the day. Whitey, you would remember Ron Adams, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? The super all-star bench of coaches. And, he leans on them as well. So, Doug absolutely, I don't know if you guys touched on this already or not, but he absolutely needs an all-star squad on his bench as well. And then as far as the style, I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys think about kind of copying the Rockets style? I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Şengün and Sabonis. And I like the style where they surround him with a bunch of athletic young wing defenders. And if, we can replicate that.
Good question, Akash, and we'll answer that when we come right back. Great question, right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. If you want to get your comment or question in with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Granger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Granger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Sacramento River Cats baseball is here, and the Cats Pass is your all-access pass to the full 2025 season. Enjoy access to every single home game at Sutter Health Park at unbeatable value. Cats Pass holders receive access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club on select dates, along with upgrades and guest options. Join us for unbeatable value with the Sacramento River Cats all season long. Get your Cats Pass today at rivercats.com.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
2:39 to go in the fourth quarter here. Milwaukee and the Pacers tied at 95. Could be Giannis's last quarter as a Buck. I doubt it, but it could be.
It could be. That's
could
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Before we answer Akash's question, and thanks again, Akash, for listening and participating, we have this on the text line. If they listened to input from Jake, is that any kind of indication they may be finding a way to keep him? I haven't heard anything, Drapes. Maybe you have, but there are some signs that suggest there's a good chance they work this out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because, with the front office change, how does Scott Perry view Jake? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if Monty and Wes were still here, I would put it at better than 50% that Jake would stay. I don't know what the relationship is with Scott and Jake and, ownership and everything like that. To the texter's question, if they listen to input from Jake, is that any kind of indication that they may be finding a way to keep him? I don't think so.
I think it might be.
But I don't think Jake has enough.
But if he weren't going to be around, they wouldn't care at all, in a way.
And they might, but this was in the exit interviews that he said this. This is like, end of season. Hey, what do you think about Doug? Oh, I love Doug. He's great. I'd love to play for him. That could have been the extent of it. Whereas I felt like Zach went back and said, I want Doug to be the coach. Like he's, I'm good with him being the coach. Whereas, I don't know if they actually listened to input from Jake.
Okay.
They listened, but how much did it weigh into the decision making? I guess I should say.
Yeah. Given that Scott Perry has mentioned that they need some length and athleticism, and he gave him a little bit of that. I don't know. That's my reading of the tea leaves. Is that there's a decent chance he stays. We'll find out. And by the way, you also had Zach Kleeman over the weekend saying, "Yeah, that was a mistake. We didn't keep LaRavia."
Oh,
we should have found a way to keep it.
No, but
he could have helped us.
And here's the thing about Jake. I feel like he could fit on any team, any roster, any system. He's a basketball player. He competes hard. He's a guy that every team could use.
Yes.
Like Warriors, he would fit in on Golden State. He'd fit in on Boston. Like he's a Swiss Army knife in terms of a chameleon, if you will. He can fit in anywhere. So they should make it a priority. If they can work out some sort of deal, a 1-1, 2-year deal, player option for the second, and then re-sign him next year to a bigger contract when you got his bird rights. I think that would be the best way to go for the Kings.
He is exactly the type of player that the Kings need to be all over. That is a good player who's maybe undervalued by a team, and they make him available to the point where they're going to say, wow, that was a mistake. Given that the Kings, they don't have high draft picks, they don't have a lot of money to sign free agents. If you have a shot at any of those guys, you must get those guys.
Right. 100%. And the thing about it, if you're the Kings, same reason why we re-signed Malik. When you find a free agent or a younger player or somebody that actually works with you, you can't just let these guys go. Like, how many times have we seen players leave Dante DiVincenzo, go somewhere else and blossom? We don't want Jake LaRavia walking out that door and now all of a sudden he's sixth man for the Boston Celtics competing for a championship. This is a quality, talented player, and we got to find a way to bring him back.
Now, how about Akash's question?
Oh, yeah.
Should the Kings in any way pattern themselves after your beloved Houston Rockets? Other than the fact that would make me throw up, I'd love to know what you would think of that.
If they can't get a guy, I would not be opposed to that. I feel like what Houston is missing right now is a guy. Houston has turned into a good regular season team, but in the playoffs, stars win games.
And Jalen Green's coming up short.
Coming up short big time. Good regular season player, no pressure. You know, Şengün played extremely well last night. I thought Şengün was great, and maybe he's their guy. But if we strike out on the big fish, big game hunting, I could see us, you know, but here's the thing that Houston lacks. They do have those athletes, yes, but they need more shooting.
Oh, they cannot
shoot. They can't shoot. They need some
missed
shooting.
free throws cost them the game.
Yeah, cost them the game. And so I would like to see us, if we're going to build around Sabonis, add more shooting around the big fella out there. No offense to DeMar or anything like that, but if we could get like a AJ Green or so, you know, just somebody, a Deadeye, even a Grayson Allen type, somebody that can knock down shots for us, I would like that.
You know what I really enjoyed about watching that game last night in this series? A lot of NBA critics say everybody plays the same. They all play the same way. Right now you got Houston and the Warriors, and
two different.
Warriors are small. Houston's, and I love that chess match, so to speak.
Let me say this too, Whitey, because I know I've been hard on Steve Kerr. I think both coaches are doing a phenomenal job. The defense that Houston rolled out on Steph Curry last night, did you see whatever kind of zone they were running? And then the double big lineup with Şengün, you know, taking the shot. You got to bring help. Steven Adams left open for the offensive rebound. Like, I thought both coaches are doing a hell of a job in that series.
And Steven Adams blocking everything, so the Warriors go to hack a Steve.
Right.
Hack
what would you have
Aquaman.
done in that? Would you have left Steven Adams in? Or
I was looking at his numbers. They're not that terrible.
Really? What is he? About a 60% or something like that?
Under that. Not great, but still, I mean, you know, because he was changing the game.
Yeah, he was, right? And, you know, I get it if you're Ime, but sometimes it's like, no, I'm not going to let you
dictate.
Terms. No, Steven, go up there and knock down the free throws, big fella. Make them. Yeah.
Or at least give him a chance to do that.
Right.
Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Elzo,
I
believe, is with us. Hello, Elzo. How are you?
Hey. Doing all right.
Good.
Been listening to you guys for years and years. I think I call in on average once every 8 years or something, probably.
We need to get that to at least every 6.
Well, I'll tell you what, you did it. You did it today with. I find it so difficult to forgive this like ice cream felony that was committed.
Hold on now. Who's this? Is this a prank call here? Is this one of your friends? Who's this? Somebody we know right here. This somebody who is this?
Nah, last time I called in, I talked to Carmichael Dave, and I think I got Lincoln Park tickets when Chester was still alive. So it's been a minute.
Okay.
But the ice cream is unforgivable. How do you leave such a good quality ice cream sitting there all alone, not dying an honorable death? It should have been causing one of you reflux or something, months ago. But it would have been worth it because it's so damn good. How does it stay in the freezer?
That's a good question, Elzo.
I don't know. I'm more worried about that than like Doug Christie next season. Doug Christie's going to do a great job. But this
You're right.
ice cream,
You're right.
This was a failure, and I make failures too. We all do. I think you just got to kind of own it, and take a little more responsibility for that failure.
Would you feel better? You personally feel better if I took it home and ate it tonight?
You know what? I think that would ease the pain. You do. I mean, no one should eat the frostbitten part on the top of that. Just shave that off. Underneath is probably really good still.
There you go.
Hopefully it was filled up nice.
Thank you, Elzo. I think we're all winners here.
That's a great call right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great call. That's, he broke it down for us. I wanted to ask Elzo, and like the shelf life though, Whitey, you can't take it home now. I mean, you can, I guess.
You just watch me.
But are you going to eat it?
Yeah.
Snap a picture of your bowl or something later tonight. I need proof.
All right.
I need proof.
I don't need to prove. I don't feel the need to prove to you that I'm eating it.
I'm going to go out to the dumpster outside and see it in there.
It'll be right
work,
after.
Right?
That was part of this too. Remember where Jay said everybody had ice cream. There's like 6 cups in the garbage. And you said, no, there's not. Remember that?
Yeah.
Jay took pictures of the trash.
I don't remember. I do.
He said all the salespeople ate it. There's multiple cups in the trash. And he took a picture, and you're like, no, there is not.
Well,
It was
carton after
ugly.
carton.
It was ugly.
I'll tell you what. Clearly, I got too much ice cream if some is still left over there. Like, next time Michael hooks us up.
Well, wouldn't have
only
been, but
4
you accosted Whitey and me about taking it.
You know why? Because I had the kids come in and everything. They scooped some out. You know, I'm like, maybe I should take this home. I'm like, nope. Of course. Leave it for everybody. You know, I'm a man of the people. Let everybody eat.
Yeah.
Then I come in the next day, it's gone. Whitey done took 2 or 3. Jaden took
No.
1 or 2.
I took 1, and it wasn't even full.
And it was vanilla, my favorite kind, too.
Oh, well, there
Dang.
you go. Yeah.
Should have took the Rocky Road or whatever it was.
Yeah, my mom loved Rocky Road.
Really?
It's like rum raisin. Let's get some ice cream. What kind? Rum raisin. What is wrong with you?
Rum raisin.
Yeah. KD on Sacktown Sports. Hello, KD.
Hey, what's happening, you guys? Apparently, nobody on the radio station is lactose intolerant, so I won't get into the ice cream.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to chime in. You guys remember when Stan Van Gundy, he made a comment about Doug Christie? I think they were playing the Warriors. I can't remember what team they were playing, but he made a comment, and he basically said that Doug Christie had played basically with 3 different teams.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Doug had brought the team, I think there were maybe 6 or 7 games over 500. Then Fox was traded, and then the Levine and Sabonis got hurt, and he still ended up in the play-in. So I'm happy in a way that we got a new GM, the new start. We got Doug. He's defensive minded. He's going to be able to get his own coaches. Because let's face it, a lot of those coaches on the bench were Mike Brown's coaches. So I just think he was dealt a really, really bad hand, and I think he'll do well. I just want to get you guys' input.
Yeah, thanks. He did really well. And Stan Van Gundy also said that Doug Christie's been through more this year than some coaches go through in 3 years.
Yeah. No, I you know, what was our last caller's name? Excuse me, I forgot. KD. I agree 100% with you. You know, everything that he went through, I mean, this is a good hire. And here's the thing. Whoever says, Doug can't coach or he's not, you really don't know. Given everything, we really don't know. To the last callers, you got to have your own assistants. You know, Doug ain't, Phil Jackson or nothing like that. We understand that. But if you surround him with his people that he's comfortable with, give him his training camp, maybe even his roster.
Yeah.
Guys that actually want to play the style that him and Scott Perry have talked about. How about that? We haven't talked about that, Whitey and Jay. The roster really didn't reflect who Doug was or Mike Brown and the way they wanted to coach. So it's hard to be, optimize your talent and maximize your talent when you want to play hard and tough and physical, but you ain't got guys that do that.
That's one of the best things about this hiring is that Scott Perry, when he talked about the identity of the team, a lot of those traits are things that Doug Christie embodies. Now, if I'm going to be jaded, I could say, well, he knew who the coach was going to be when he said that. But still, there's some synergy there already. It doesn't win you any games necessarily. I don't know how good it is, but it's not a bad thing.
Right. Not a bad thing. And one thing I think we can all agree on, Monty and Mike weren't on the same page. They didn't have what looked like, what we were hoping was the same philosophy, idea for the identity of the team. From the first week or two of the Scott Perry era, it seems like at least him and Doug are on the same page of who they want to be.
One more here. Steve on Sacktown Sports. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Hey, gentlemen. So 2 points. I agree with you, Drake, when you were saying about how a team. Basically, I'm just gonna go high level. A team needs to gel. And people, and a new coach every year or new players every year isn't a recipe for success. That's just not going to do it. And we've been doing it, so we already know that don't work.
Right.
And then when I watch basketball and we're in the playoffs, I'm hoping the players are doing that, because let's just talk real quick about Houston. Dylan Brooks, when he fouled, I forget who, I think was it Curry? No,
Jimmy Butler.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, he fouled Jimmy Butler. That was stupid. That was real dumb. And they ended up losing by 3 points. So you could easily say it was him that caused the game, but it wasn't, because there were some times when they had free throws and they didn't make it. But it's that kind of stuff. And in my opinion, he should know better because he's a vet. You know what I mean? He should know better. I expect that from Draymond, because Draymond's an idiot. He does that all the time, right? He's a hothead, and they should have lost, in my opinion. And it would have been, you could have blamed it on Draymond for that. Those antics, if you will. But if they were to watch the aggressiveness of how players are doing, and somebody mentioned about Domas, playing like Shangu, or if I hope I said his name right, if I didn't, I apologize. Yeah. But Domas don't go to the hole like he should, and I'm hoping in the off season he will become more aggressive, because just holding that ball, looking for somebody to pass it to, that's why he loses his lunch money all the time. Anyhow, take it off the air, and excited about the future, though, 100.
All right. Thank you, Steve. By the way, 3 minutes left in overtime. The Bucks and the Pacers are tied at 106.
Ooh. Give Milwaukee credit, because they could have did what Miami did last night. Rolled over and played dead.
Mm-hmm.
Quit. But they're on the road and they're balling with no Dame Lillard.
Yeah,
it's a good game right now.
We'll come back with perhaps a conclusion there also. Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz. And a look at this text from somebody who says, we need to be more respectful to you as fans. So we will do that. Look, they're wearing their Cream City. They know about the ice cream thing. Bucks wearing their Cream City
is that what that
warm-up
is?
shirts. Yeah. We'll wrap things up when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
Ralph Barbosa.
I just don't like going to church, man. I don't like the people there. Like, if those are the people that are going to be hanging out in heaven, I just go to hell.
Renee Vaca.
I'm Mexican, though, man. Stereotypical Mexican. When Donald Trump called us drug dealers, though, all right, he got his ass.
The Butterfly Effect Tour, Friday, May 23rd. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Ralph Barbosa and Renee Vaca.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Whitey here with another great grilling tip. The Napoleon Stainless Steel Prestige 500 Connected Propane Grill with infrared side and rear burner featuring Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity brings you closer to your grilling experience than ever before. The Napoleon Connected lets you monitor temperatures, set timers, and receive high temp warnings. Boop, boop. All from your smartphone with temperature probes and LCD display. You'll always know exactly what's happening inside your grill. Napoleon's LED control knobs even illuminate for nighttime entertaining and feature safety glow. Napoleon Grills, simply the best.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
We got a minute and a half to play in overtime, and the Bucks are leading the Pacers 112 to 109. And we got a steal.
Yeah,
Bust
Tyrese.
out. Pacers, Tyrese all the way.
Oh, took it himself. No, but the tip
is good.
Neesmith.
1 point game. I want to get to this text here, and then we'll get to Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz. From the 415, and I'm going to read it the way it's written here. And, sometimes I know you're driving. So the syntax is a little fractured here, but I'm not making fun of anybody. I know you can't say the truth because your connection to the Kings, but the roster is bad and the owner needs to sell. It's what every fan is saying, and those on the radio won't say it. So as a fan, how can I continue to support? And when the media won't even say the truth, please speak truth. It would be more respectful to us as fans. Well, sir or madam, I think we've been very plain about the fact that the roster needs work. If you say that the owner needs to sell, the roster's bad and the owner needs to sell. I don't think the owner is in any rush to sell.
Yeah, the owner not.
There's nothing. He hasn't done anything where, as fans, you can, march on Golden One with pitchforks and torches and saying, "That's it. He needs to sell."
Yeah, that's.
There's nothing like that. Here.
And what owner do you know that has sold just because their team is bad?
Yeah.
You got to do something.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Really egregious.
The roster's bad. The roster has issues. Yeah. The roster needs to be better. No question. The owner needs to sell. No, the owner does not. You may wish that he would, but he's not gonna.
He's not.
Yeah. And there's no come on, all the fans are saying he needs to sell. This is not like the John Fisher thing in Oakland.
Right.
And I know
that guy needs
that's to not like that at all.
Right. It'd be different if Vivek didn't invest in the product at all, didn't care about whether the team wins. That's the problem with Vivek, and it's not a problem. He cares so much. He wants this team to win so much. He's trying to do everything he can to help this team win. And sometimes it might be butting in when it's not needed. You know what I mean? It's it'd be different. He's not a negligent owner. You know what I mean? He's got his pulse on what's happening. And so, this whole sell the team narrative is just Tyrese missed a wide open three.
The Bucks have a 6-point lead with 42.5 seconds to go. So if that holds 117-111, this will not be Giannis's.
Yeah, Giannis I want one more game in a Bucks uniform at home too. Game 6 would be.
We'll keep you updated on that. But right now it's time for Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz for April the 29th. It's brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. And let me tell you something. Our champion is on a run.
Now he is. It's baseball season. It's his time. It's his time.
Jay Johnson is our champion. And he will be defending his belt again today. He ran the table yesterday.
Yeah, he did pretty good. I was just back from missing a few days and everything. I'm locked in now, Jay. I'm ready. I guarantee I'm going to get this W today.
You're up first today, Jay. Everything based on events that happened on this date or based on things related to events that happened on this date, April 29th. So here's what we have, Jay. We have this date, what year in the NFL draft? We have 1986. We have 2000. And we have 2006, 2018, and 2021.
Ooh.
So where would you like to start, Jay?
Y2K.
2000?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Closest to?
It is a closest. It's a little bit of a funny one here. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what the how to classify it here. It would be it's a closest to, Jay.
We'll let Drake, since it's a funny situation, I have no idea. Let him walk into it.
I've already protested. Go ahead.
No, it's this is where we're above board. Closest to. This date, 2000. Drapes, the Giants finally won a game at brand new Pac Bell Park after starting the season 0 and what? Actually, I'll tell you both. It was a record for the most games without a win in a brand new stadium.
This is a tough one.
This date, 2000, the Giants finally win a game at brand new Pac Bell Park after starting the season 0 and what?
14.
0 and 14. Jay?
So let me just clarify. This is how many home games they lost.
It's at the stadium.
Yeah.
Giants finally win a game at brand new Pac Bell Park after starting the season at that stadium. 0 and what? Drapes is 0-14.
Man, I don't remember it being.
I don't know. That's tough.
I'm gonna say 13.
Yeah, it was 0-6.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7.
0-6.
Oh,
I thought that's the record.
Yes.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
You think some of these bad teams would have.
The bad teams don't always get new stadiums.
See what the A's do in Vegas in a couple of years.
Well, maybe
they're
we
not
will.
going.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, they're not
maybe.
going. All right.
Drapes, you're up here. We have this day what year in the NFL draft? 1986, 2006, 2018, and 2021.
86.
1986. Boston's Roger Clemens on this date strikes out 20 Mariners. Who was the last pitcher to strike out 20 hitters in a game? He did it in 2016.
Oh,
was it Justin Verlander?
Oh, you mean okay? Right.
Felix Hernandez or Max Scherzer?
Can you repeat it one more time?
Yeah. This date, 86, Roger Clemens struck out 20 Mariners. Who was the most recent pitcher to strike out 20 hitters in a game, which he did in 2016? Justin Verlander, Felix Hernandez, Max Scherzer.
King Felix.
King Felix is not correct.
What?
Jay for the steal. The last pitcher.
Jay, you was going to guess King Felix.
Nah.
I thought he had a.
He did. He had a couple, but it wasn't.
It might have been before then, huh?
The last pitcher to strike out 20 hitters in a game in 2016, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer.
My gut tells me Max Scherzer, so I'm going that way.
Jay has a 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
Damn. I'm
Thought it was Scherzer.
I'm struggling here lately.
But you better go on vacation.
I
man.
know. This is killing me.
Jay, you're up. You have the 2-0 lead. We have this day what year in the NFL draft? 2006, 2018, 2021.
Let's go this year in NFL draft.
This day what year in the NFL draft? You can hear it and decide if you want to go first.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
1 point game.
1 point game.
17 they were just
point
up
what?
6.
Yeah.
One of 17. One
Tyrese just got an and one. Got that full court pressure on too.
Yeah.
Bucks turn it over. Oh, they call timeout.
Wow.
All right, Jay. This day what year in the NFL draft? Tampa Bay takes Bo Jackson with the overall #1 pick. This day what year? In the NFL draft. Get to hear it. Decide if you want to go first. You want Drapes to go first. This day what year?
Dang, I think I know it.
Tampa Bay takes
I
Bo
think I know
Jackson.
it, but I don't know if I know it.
#1 pick. Jay with the 2-0 lead.
I'll let Drapes go first and see if he's thinking the same year or two I'm thinking.
This day what year, Drapes? Tampa Bay takes Bo Jackson with the overall #1 pick in the NFL draft.
85.
85, Jay?
Oh, that's a great choice. Because I actually threw a wrench in when I was thinking.
Come on, man. Let's go, Jay.
Jay with the lead. Methodical. Very deliberate approach.
I'm saying 84 because I think it's 83 or 84.
1986.
Actually was going to say 84, but then I'm like, he might say 85 if I say 84. So.
Split the difference.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's
Drapes
a good one.
breaks through. It's 2-1, and you're up, Drapes.
Okay.
Should have known that. Royals 85 or 84?
What's that?
He signed with the Royals 84, 85.
Oh, I
don't know.
I think it might have been later than that.
Later than that, yeah.
2006, 2018, or 2021?
2021.
2021. Oh, basketball question.
Yes.
Multiple choice.
All right.
This day, 2021, who becomes at age 20 the youngest NBA player ever to score 50 points with 11 assists in a game? Trae Young, John Morant, Kevin Porter Jr. This day, 2021. Who becomes at age 20 the youngest NBA player ever to score 50 points with 11 assists in a game? Trae Young, John Morant, Kevin Porter Jr. Drapes trying to tie it up.
John Morant.
John Morant is not correct. He missed a basketball question. Opening for Jay. Jay, this date, 2021. Who becomes at age 20 the youngest NBA player ever to score 50 points with 11 assists in a game? Trae Young, Kevin Porter Jr.
Real quick, Jay, think about it. Tyrese takes the lead with the layup, 1.3 to go in overtime. Bucks, no timeouts.
Trae Young.
Trent Jr., four-court heave, and the Pacers win.
The Pacers win. The Bucks are
Look at
out.
Tyrese standing on the
Scorers
table. Look at him. That's tough.
Wow.
That's hard to see. All right, he said
Trae Young.
Trae Young.
No, it's Kevin Porter Jr.
I thought he was being slick.
I thought you was too.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Porter
KP Jr. even being in the league in 21. I was like,
11. Yeah. So Jay still has the 2-1 lead. And Jay, you're
Oh, look
up.
at this. Tyrese's dad about to get into a fight with Giannis, it looks like.
Wow.
He had to be held back.
There's a celebration, obviously, in Indianapolis, and a lot of the players are Nembhard, Porter,
Getting in and out of the
couple of future Kings exchanging
Wow.
handshakes there.
Okay. All right, let's go. We got one more. Oh, there's Tyrese and his dad right there.
All right. Jay, you want to clinch it here? Try to clinch it?
Sure.
2006 or 2018?
2006.
2006.
Oh, my God. This is – all right, sorry.
What team with the first overall pick selects Mario Williams over Reggie Bush, Vince Young, and
Houston,
DeBrincat
Texas.
Schauberger? Houston, Texas is correct.
Yes, sir.
Jay,
Come on, baby.
That's a
Sign him
layup.
up.
With the win.
That's a layup. Put the layup. Call me Iceman.
Look at Halliburton's dad and
Ooh,
Giannis
about that
having
smoke.
some
Wow.
words. You thought I was joking, Wayne.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't think you were joking. I just didn't know what was going on.
And look at Tyrese looking around like, wow, I got to see what's going
Why
on.
is Tyrese not over there with Pops? He was 10 feet away.
His pop can handle that smoke.
come
hey,
Yeah.
Tyrese dad.
Looked like he was getting ready to do an interview on NBA TV.
I don't care. I'm
so I
over
like to
there.
say Sean Rooks.
Right.
But
Sean Rooks. Didn't know he was doing sideline reporting there.
yeah. All right. Jay, what's coming up?
Infinity
Sports
All right.
Radio. Next, we're back with you tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports. Enjoy your evening and your ice cream.
Getting in and out of the bathtub. Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub